He's off. Give him a second, please. In a minute. In a minute. All right. Yeah, I'm still getting used to the new interface. I got this new headset as well, so it's like, been tweaking with the EQ. I'm hoping it's all right, but it's all right. That sounds good. That. Oh, C160's late. We're definitely not a minute late. What's in a minute? Dokes has a face. Yes, he does. Oh, thank you for the subscribe, C-Wabs. It's like a monthly ritual with you. Alright, so I guess, there's a good amount of people already, so I think we will just kick it off. So, welcome to the stream. This is the Manga Reading Club, and in case you are watching this, to the two people in the chat right now who already know what this is, we cover about a few manga per month, and I am joined by our co-host this month, Doax or Dokes. Sorry, Dokes. I don't know why Doak is in my head for some reason. It's just my brain. So I was thinking we could just kick off the stream with a little bit of like a little chat and just find out more about you in terms of like what's your oh god, the position changed again. We can't you can't we can't hear? Okay. Not on the stream. Really? Oh. Okay. That is dumb. So dumb. Okay, and because you popped in. Oh god. Yeah, alright. There we go. Alright, so the Windows back. Okay. Alright, so Dokes is just a floating head at the moment until we get the sound working. Can you try talking to me? Let me see if it picks up the audio. Otherwise, I need to make. Yeah. Okay. So you're not coming up on the audio, on the desktop audio. So 1 second. I need to check why. Why? I know. I'm sorry. Damn it! I knew I was gonna miss something. Yeah. Oh. I thought. Okay. Let's see. Output device. Is it that? Will that do? I'm not sure. No, you're not coming up. I'm gonna see if I put something on YouTube, is it gonna pick up the audio?
They matched me with a brilliant UK accredited.
Yeah, okay, so the audio comes up there. So for some reason the audio's not coming up on the Discord, which is dumb. Is it capture? Oh, here we go. Will that work? Capture audio?
I don't know. Can you hear it now, or is it picking up now?
There's another bar I added to it, so it should do it. Yay!
Yeah, it looks like
we got him, boys. Okay, just tell me if the volume's all right.
Yeah, am I too loud? Am I blowing your ears out?
Because you're hitting red on OBS, but I know that's just bullshit measurement, so it's fine. Decibels are for the weak.
Well, is that like really high? Like, is that like crazy, like loud?
Sounds pretty much fine to me. Okay, that's good then. All right, sorry. Okay. With that minor hiccup out of the way, welcome Dokes to the stream, and I'm going to repeat my question again. Like, how did you get started? Like, have you been reading manga long? How did you get started? That sort of thing.
Manga for me, you know, it was funny. I'm a '90s kid, so I'm a little bit older than some of the people that we're friends with online, and you know, so I grew up watching, you know, Toonami and stuff, a bunch of things, you know, like Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, Yu Yu Hakusho, and all those. Had no idea that they were from Japan until I was like in high school in like 2008 or nine, and in my library in my school, I discovered manga for the first time. Started with Dragon Ball because I was most familiar with it, and then just started reading through things like Naruto, Bleach, um, Shaman King, and some other ones like that. And then read a lot of manga for like really long shonens, especially from like 2010 to like 2012. And then I didn't read very much for several years just because of being busy in other projects. I do read a few things weekly right now, but I've been reading manga off and on for the last 15 years, but like definitely like something that I've been trying to be more consistent with. So I'm thinking that if I'm more active in your server and club here, maybe that is a possibility for me because it's been fun to, you know, get back in the groove of things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like this club has been very helpful for people to like kind of find some sort of consistency in terms of trying out manga. I know Rulene, especially, she's very reliant on the structure of having something for a month, at least something for a month to do. Just to know I'm a statistical anomaly. Yeah, Seawabs is just there. He never reads, but he's there.
Well, you know, it's like I had like a 2-year period where I like watched almost no anime, and then now I'm doing this really long, exhaustive tournament and other challenges on top of that. And that, even though I'm not watching all things I enjoy, it has gotten me back into a structure of watching stuff regularly, and I feel way more engaged with the hobby now. So I think even if I only read chunks of these manga as they're happening every month here, that might be the thing I need to get me kickstarted to just reading regularly again, outside of like just reading One Piece. Like the Beekeeper came up with that the entire time, but I need to read other stuff too.
I think, yeah, absolutely. I think I was having a bit of a manga slump as well years ago, and I decided to just go ahead with this reading club, essentially, just for my sake, to try stuff out. Because I remember, like, more than 10 years ago, back in like the 2010s, I was reading manga left, right, and center. I was unstoppable, that sort of thing, and I was like, you know, like sort of like on a non-stop runner's high, but reading manga basically. Like I just kept going, and then all of a sudden, COVID happened. Suddenly, but even before COVID, I graduated uni, and I just fizzled out, and I needed to kick myself back up again, and that's basically it. This is true. It's just like suggesting as many people as I can to my taste. Yeah, that's typical C-Webs.
I don't know. It's just like for me, I have always loved reading, but it's like the one hobby I always put on the back burner, and I feel terrible about it. So I like really want to like be better about that.
Oh, absolutely. I think what I like about the reading club is just that it's not committal. It's non-committal unless you're hosting or me. Basically, it's not good.
You're forced. You have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I have to like cover most of the content unless it's appallingly bad. Like we've had bad manga here before. This month in particular is not the case. I don't think there's been any bad manga this month.
No. Yeah, I enjoyed everything to some capacity for sure.
Yeah, so this month we covered so starting from left to right, Beelzebub, Welcome to Demon School, Iramakun, Ichi the Witch, and Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Did anyone read all of Rosen Maiden? I feel like it was you and Starless, Rulene. I think you're the only ones who bothered to read. I think it broke Eric as well years ago. That was fun. That was a fun month. But I never finished Rosen Maiden. Anyways, moving on. So, were there any particular favorites from this month, except for your recommendation, which was Nausicaa? I feel like removing bias.
I had not read it before I picked it.
Oh, fair enough then. Yeah.
I purposely pick some. When I do things like these, I purposely try to pick something I have not watched or read because I want to have a new experience of some sort. I am familiar with the movie. I've seen it multiple times, but like I wanted to finally sit down and like read the the expanded version of the story.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I did. Nausicaa is maybe my favorite of the month outside of that, but other than that, I'd probably say Beelzebub was probably my favorite of the four, most consistently like enjoyable and funniest out of all of them.
Yeah. I'm okay. So Beelzebub was my nomination. Won the vote. So, but it used to be, probably is in my heart of hearts one of my favorite manga of all time. I think it's a perfect blend of comedy and action, and and when I think I'll go into more detail later on in the stream.
Right, yeah.
But there's a part of the manga which is such a perfect blend, so hyped, and back to back, like there was no pitfalls whatsoever, and I call it the God Run. And yeah, it just never. But then it was ultimately Axe. But we'll definitely talk about it in detail. So let's start off with the one we haven't mentioned, but I think we're relatively up to date with. It's Ichi the Witch. So
Yes,
Shonen Jump's new poster boy, where I don't think it is, but it might be in the next couple of years once it has an anime. Usually it becomes the case when it gets an anime. So, just going over the synopsis, Ichi the Witch. In this world, witches must hunt down their magic. Deep in the forest, the terrifying king of magic and the strongest witch are locked in a deadly combat. But suddenly, a young boy joins the fray. His name is Ichi, and he is just a hunter. He has the power to flip the magic world upside down in this magic hunting fantasy epic. So this was nominated by Best Dan. It's an ongoing Shonen Jump, and I think right now, it's 66 chapters, 68 chapters. I
just read chapter 64 or 5, I think.
So
that was on.
Okay, so what can we say about Ichi the Witch? Like nicely say about it. I think it's very good. It has good fundamentals. It's very basic bread and butter shonen, I think.
Yeah, I especially felt the first like 35 to 40 chapters didn't have a lot of flavor to it because
holy moly,
Ichi themselves did not really have any sort of like goal or like anything that was like really pushing them along forward. They just was like, this is happening and I'm successful and let's just move forward with the story and keep going. It wasn't really until the arc with like the sacred tapir and stuff like that it started getting a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, honestly, I definitely agree. I think one problem I find with this manga, which we'll go over if I can find a good example, is that everything. I think the chain of events that happen, everything proceeds too smoothly in this manga.
Yes.
The obstacles are easily overcome. The differences between characters are also easily overcome. I think there was a particular character that used ice magic that was introduced, and she was kind of introduced as a sort of obstacle for Ichi, but it was so like no hard feelings throughout it all. It didn't have that much friction between the characters to make things like entertaining.
I would agree, yeah. And then they basically just used that as a launch pad to introduce the main antagonist of the series, who they themselves has a very generic goal of just wanting to destroy things.
Like, it's generic overshadowed by another generic as well, which is like not really good precedence.
So I will say the art is solid. I do like the art.
The art is.
I don't love the character designs themselves, but I think the art is solid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Character designs, I think the costume designs aren't bad. Face designs, they're
Yeah.
unique enough that you can just easily distinguish characters. I feel like that's one of the most important things for me, is having a sort of distinctive art style that you're able to easily identify between different characters. If you were to remove their hair, and
Right.
like if you were to remove their hair and remove their hair, make them bald, everyone bald, would they still could you still tell the difference between them? Is the
That is
biggest thing.
fair. Yeah, like you could definitely tell the difference between like Ichi and Discara's if you did that. Minus the fact that she has darker skin, but
Yeah,
like
yeah, and skin color. Let's remove and skin color. But yeah, that's one of the things, because otherwise we'll have a World Trigger problem. And World Trigger has just atrocious character design in terms of it. It's one thing where most of the characters wear the same uniform. It's another thing where everyone has the same fucking face. And like the only reason why the main character looks like the main character is because he's shorter than most people and has white bushy hair. That's it.
that's an ongoing issue with one of my favorite mangakas, Mitsuru Adachi, and he can't even tell his own characters apart.
Oh no, that's not good. That is not good at all.
Because so many of his main characters have very similar facial design and hair design, so like it becomes a problem. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Ichi the Witch, I mean, like it flows very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not really much emotional depth to the storylines either, because they are usually resolved within 3 to 5 chapters every single time too.
There's not really much weight to it. It's like, especially with Ichi's character, where he is brought to this sort of thing, and you're thinking, if anyone has read, I don't know, like the fantasy novel Wheel of Time, I was expecting something similar in terms of there's going to be a lot of dissonance, so to speak, and the controversy for like the introduction of a male witch, but it's so glossed over, just quickly overlooked, and it's just like there's no society problems or anything like that. There's no flaws. Everyone's just like, okay, yeah, we're not upset that he's male or anything like that. It's just that there's a prophecy or something,
I mean, they even literally say, like, most recently when they do another meeting about it, like that it's mostly just that the head of the witch place just likes formalities. Like they just do it just because they want to seem like they're official. Like, and it doesn't make it really. I don't know. They're just like I just didn't feel like they actually cared that much. Like, wow, he's useful. We can use him. That's fine. They did I think they resolved the debate within the exact same chapter it came up.
Yeah, exactly. Everything happens too smoothly. Characters are introduced, character hurdles are overcome. Relatively minimalistic. It doesn't, they come as quickly as they go. I mean, they go as quickly as they come, so to speak. But yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Rulian's asking, does the prophecy come true? It's sort of the main overarching point of the story. Yeah. I think the prophecy is basically the goal, I think, and it's tied to whoever has the main character's magic. It's not even about it being a male wizard; it's about the magic itself. So,
yeah, and he just happened to get it. Like it just feels very happenstance. Like it doesn't feel like he doesn't even feel like he's that motivated to like accomplish anything. It's just I want to hunt bad things.
Yeah,
and it just happened to be aligning with the fact that the bad things are happening around him. Like he until recently, Ichi in the first like 50 chapters, he doesn't once have a single goal or aspiration for anything other than hunting the bad thing just because it's in front of him.
Yeah, it's like it's so there's a manga with a character with a similar motivation, where it's an isekai, but it's like a sort of fake Putin. And it's called the Ride-On King. And you've probably seen those old memes of Putin riding a bear with thing. Like very
all the time.
Yeah.
He does it.
Yeah, with some AK-47s in both hands, that sort of thing. So they kind of like made like a character, but it's very democratic version of it, but it's sort of the same. So he even looks like Putin. And he gets isekai'd into this fantasy world, and his main motivation is there's these massive creatures and I want to ride on them, basically.
Yeah, and it's like that's not really a strong enough like premise to pull a
But
whole series along. I feel.
but it has a main point. It has a main plot that and the like a whole everything that really works for it. You know,
So in that case, did you find it actually like they made it compelling and interesting?
they made it compelling and interesting. It wasn't just like, oh, this is the character's quirk, like this, and this is just how it goes. There felt like there was a big expanding lore to it. When it fit in this case, it just feels like, in basic terms, it's like Pokemon. Like without just going like, okay, we're gonna try and catch them all. Let's go and catch them all. That's it. Without any of like the sense of like a major world or a major goal or something like that. It just
I mean, he doesn't even want to catch them all. He just wants to hunt ones that happen to piss him off. So
the ones that like what kill people and so on like that. Man has a mission to ride the big animal. Yeah, that's basically it. But yeah,
honestly, that makes sense though, contextualizing it that way, where bringing up that aspect of the character, but then they don't really focus on what it means to hunt for Ichi. They just use it as an excuse to motivate him to want to hurt things versus like actually, I don't know, giving us as readers like a reason to be invested in why we would care that the magics are being taken and absorbed versus just because they're bad, you know.
Yeah, they're bad. They're threatening society, that sort of thing. I imagine you probably also had low expectations going in, expecting it to be mostly a joke, which probably helps. That did help with the Ride-On King, that's for sure. In this case, the hunting, his kind of like, especially if you see here, his sort of enthusiasm to hunt and kill is it's used as a comedic factor in this, but I wouldn't say it's laugh out loud funny. I think no. The comedy is fairly okay. I think there's like one or two jokes that have appeared throughout that it's like, okay, that was funny, but
there's a lot of like back end jokes with like Discara's, but I don't find her very likable or funny most of the time either.
Yeah, the dynamic between characters is just fairly bland. I think it's just very ultra supportive. We had this inclusion of a certain character who looked like he was taken straight out of Margie, and he was introduced as this, and you're smiling, so I'm guessing you know who I'm talking about. And he was kind of introduced as this controversial character, but like literally in a chapter or two, he turns out to be this nicest guy ever, and that whole controversy is just out the fucking window, and it's just like, oh, okay.
And then we just immediately, like, his introduction turns into the story, like just like that, and they're immediately that becomes the focus of the story. Like, there's no build up to like wondering, is he dangerous, is he not? It's like, here he is, and actually no.
Yeah, they bring him back to the place. This man who has committed crimes is like, oh yes, we're such a progressive society, you're joining this team and something like that, and just like there's no internal conflict or anything. There's no any sense of, hurdles to overcome, which doesn't make it fun at all. Like in Bleach, you had discord between different team captains and stuff like that, and Soul Society versus other factions.
They even rejected Ichigo from the get-go too.
Exactly. There's that. You had Naruto with the different villages. There was the dissonance of that, and then you had the main villains, the Akatsuki at the time. Those were hurdles to be overcome. This is like everyone is in fucking unison, and it's just boring. It just makes things boring. There's no, I want to see if they'll ever patch this up. I want to see, these two characters will they ever get along? Will ever they have their moment together or something like that? There is none of that. Everything proceeds way too smoothly. Whenever there's a problem, they just either shirk it off or just overpower it, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, until the fight that's happening currently, there's not been a single fight in the series where they just easily just overcome them just by brute force.
Yeah, absolutely, and not just that. There's just other than the latest fight, there hasn't been any any sense of weight.
Like no emotional tension, right?
Emotional
Like, there's just
tension
no
or weight. Like there's no risk factor. You're not feeling the risk. Like, oh shit, this character's gonna die or anything like that. And I know it's a shonen series and it's pretty early in the shonen series, but we had Ichigo being stabbed in the heart, but in like 30 chapters. Okay, Naruto had a close encounter with death as well. Pretty early on.
Well, then they killed a primary character in the world of Naruto in the first 100 chapters. So, like, I mean, you can do things like that, and you don't even they don't have to kill them either. It just has to feel like there's a threat, right? Like, you have to feel like there's some sort of tension to the fight going on so that the emotional stakes for you reading it makes you invested in the fight that's happening.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Character designs are fun. At least monster designs, I think, is the strongest point of this series. Whilst it's not Bibliomania level or like Berserk level or so on, it's still very good monster designs in my opinion in terms of the magics. It's fairly creative. Each design is unique and stand out in their own way, and the power system. It's okay. I don't think the power system is making me.
There's not really a basis for what the threshold is for it, really.
Yeah, and it doesn't really it doesn't really inspire people's curiosity. Like, oh, I want to see someone do this, someone do that, or like, oh, what happens this? Like when it doesn't inspire the same talk as people talking about, like, again, if I keep mentioning Bleach, it's like Bankais or Hunter x Hunter with Nen, or like, oh, is Naruto going to use a jutsu outside of the fucking Rasengan? That sort of thing.
Yeah, well, and chakras and power levels, they exist to establish a baseline so you can understand where they're at currently and where they could be at some point.
Exactly, but it just doesn't it doesn't have that. It's just like he's got this very powerful thing, and it's just like roll with it. There's no established sense of strength.
I would say, Rue, my favorite monster so far is one that's in the current arc right now. There's this like octopus squid looking creature. He's very interesting.
It's he is a very interesting, controversial character, and I do like what they do with it. For me, it's probably Descara's true aim. Sharpshooter magic she has with the big robe and the arms with the embroidery on it. I thought it was. I think it's a lovely design. I don't want to jump off Discord, but I did post it a while ago on the Discord manga thing. But she apparently has like a bunch of them. Oh shit, did I close it by mistake? There we go. Ooh. I actually because of Discord by mistake. I lost you there. Don't worry, they'll have a good story issue in that one Bleach light novel. Yeah, is it in the CFO? Is it in the CFOW? But yeah, it's okay. It's a very bread and butter manga. I don't think it's pushing any boundaries or anything like that. It's
yeah.
I
always say, for me though, like for shonen especially, usually the beginning is usually my least favorite part anyway. So it can overcome it if it gets more interesting as it goes on. But it's definitely not as high as like the better ones in the genre either.
Oh yeah, I mean, even Katekyo Hitman, which is like all these hype moments and everyone's excited for the new adaptation coming out, like it had like 30 episodes of just nonsensical gag nonsense, until we actually got to the actual plot heavy stuff. So I get that. Gintama has that problem as well for a lot of people as well. It's an ever-present issue in shonen. Oh yeah, you didn't know?
Yeah, I don't know. For me in general, I always find that that's just a common thing with storytelling is either the beginning is the best part of the series and they didn't think about what comes next, or it's like a building block to when they get to the part that's actually the inspired content, but they need some way to like facilitate the beginning of the story to get to that point.
Sorry, I got interrupted there. New adaptation, I think it was called. Yeah, it's expected to be released 2026.
So this year?
Yeah, hold on. Do we have pictures? They posted like a 20th anniversary visual or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. They may have announced that at like a Jump Fest or something like that. But yeah, it definitely was announced a few months ago.
Yeah. I thought it came out like within like the past month or so. But yeah, it's
Well, because there was a Jump Fest recently that announced like a bunch of dates for a bunch of Shonen Jump like adaptations and stuff that are coming out next year or this year now.
Here we go. This is the octopus guy in general. So this goofy
yeah, he's
goober.
just like, not only is he just like pure chaotic energy, while he is evil, like all of his motivations are, I don't know, they're more interesting to me than some of the like I just do bad things. Like he has like his own personal motivation that like codes his entire behavior, and it makes him a very interesting antagonist for them to have to overcome.
He's a sort of it's one of those characters I would say are like fairly I like a sort of corrupted innocence.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's fairly innocent in personality though, but because of his logic is so flawed, it pretty much is like it's at the detriment to everyone around him. Basically,
yeah, he literally like his thing is like him. Well, he was taught at a young age, which corrupted his view on things. That like if you want to be like a good friend, you have to be able to be as strong as him and survive or stop him, and he's like insanely powerful and strong. So like anybody who's too weak deserves to die, and it's just because he's been taught survival of the fittest in his mindset. But if you are really strong, then he sees you as like a best friend, and all he wants to do, he sees it as playing. Like fighting to the death to him is not like him wanting to hurt you, it's him wanting to play, because it's like a form of like a playhouse at a very maniacal and dangerous level. And so he creates a lot of chaos because of it, and it's a lot more fun.
Oh yeah, and the reason why I only bring this up, because obviously this is just like your weekly arc villain, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that even if I bring this up, this is going to be it, and they'll win, and we'll never speak of this again. Like it won't be a character, it won't be a part of development or anything like that. This is it. So there's no issue of talking about it because it's not going to have any impact in the future. What a good face! I thought it would be a good emoji.
My fingers crossed moment of hope with this character is because the way antagonists work in this, if they're magics, they can be absorbed. And there's like an inner mind place that the main character can talk to them, is that he gets absorbed by the main character, and then we get to like have him be like a regular side character with powers in the future.
Yeah, this is the controversial guy, and he looks like fucking straight out of Magi. I swear to God, he looks like a Magi character. Like
he likes to punch things. That's his thing.
Here's his thing. He's strong. That's it. He's literally, what's that race of people? Fenris or whatever it's called in Magi, the redhead people. I don't know, but yeah, that is that. But yeah, that's about it. That's pretty much this manga. It's not really much to talk about. That's the sad thing. It's character design. It's very good. It's got a very good foundation. I don't understand the hype. I just saw a Mangadex. I was looking at Mangadex rating. It's got a 9.04.
Yeah.
We got 1,000 people giving it a 10 out of 10. 500 people giving it a 9. It's okay. It's just generic. It's not.
Yeah, I would say if you're reading a modern Shonen Jump manga, you're better off reading something like Akane Banashi or like Blue Box instead. I think they're both way more interesting series.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, even Jujutsu Kaisen had some complexity, even though it's just fucking brain rot by the okay, so it's fairly popular. I mean, it's in the top 1,000s on Mal. So it's pretty good score on Mal. It's ranked near to the top 1,000, so it's pretty decent, 7.8. It's pretty high. It beats a lot of other manga which I think deserve to be higher. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what'll happen as it goes on, if it'll keep the popularity train going, or an anime will make that go up further, or once it starts being seen by more people, there will be like a general crowd who loves it, and everyone else be like, it's really not that special. Why do you care?
So there's 10 recommended reviews, 2 mixed feelings review, and 1 not recommended. So this is quite mixed, and I feel like the positive reviews are going to be extremely biased. So this person has written a review. It's very short, and they've only read 3 chapters at the time of writing this. And it literally kicks off with, please don't get axed, please don't get axed, please don't get axed, please don't get axed, please don't get axed. This manga has some insane potential, and it's only just released. Amazing art, check. Unique art style, check. Interesting setting, check. Cool power system, check. Awesome characters, check. Witty dialogue, check. I disagree in terms of witty dialogue.
I don't even know in the first 3 chapters if I would call the setting interesting. It's mostly just by a forest and a mountain.
It's mostly just snark. It's not, I wouldn't call it's
Yeah.
it's snark. It's not even witty. This manga immediately separates itself from everything else releasing right now with an epic introduction that could lead to this manga becoming the next big thing if the author delivers. So why are you giving it 10? Absolutely give this a shot even if you don't like the genre. I feel like absolutely
I think it's 4
not.
people who like the genre.
Yeah, it's only 4 people who like the genre. You can absolutely not give it to someone who doesn't like the genre, because it would just amplify even their hate for the genre. This is...
Yeah, I have a good friend of mine, name's Tom. He doesn't like a lot of shonen. He's very picky with it. I think he would hate this series.
Yeah, I feel like this is a bullet to the head.
Would scoff and like roll his eyes at most of what happens.
Let's just take a look at another recommended, but something beyond 3 chapters. Oh, here we go.
10 out of 10.
There's 10 out of 10. It's absolutely polarizing. So this one is 22 chapters. They give it a 9. So it's pretty short review. So Ichi is a mountain child. He accidentally... Okay, this is just telling the story. The interesting part here is that this isn't a reset button. Ichi just shifts his focus from hunting animals to hunting magical creatures, using the same principles. This contrasts with an entire society built on arcane practices. It's an interesting point to bring up. I think it's that yes, Ichi is introduced as this unique character with this unique perspective of hunting the magics rather than finding them, doing trials, magic, and so on like that. It would be interesting if it was pointed out in a non-deliberate fashion, you know?
Well, I also have 2 issues with that. One, we don't really get to see much of like what is different between the way he hunts them versus other people, other than a slightly different perspective. And 2, he ends up having to do their trials anyway. So like his hunting becomes irrelevant when they become more dangerous and powerful, because if he doesn't do what they ask him to do, he can't obtain them anyhow.
Yeah, so that it's kind of the shooting itself in the foot sort of plot. These kind of mechanics introduced as well. Like you're introducing a character meant to break the rules, so to speak, but they are forced to follow the rules no matter what, and you can't break them. So far from what we've seen, these rules that these magic set, they can't be broken. They have to be followed to a certain extent, you know. I think it's up to interpretation.
I think we were only given one exception so far, and it's that it's possible to fully kill them if you know how to destroy their core, but it's like insanely difficult to do, and also like super inhumane and mean. So like, it's not gonna happen.
Oh no, it's you know, it's inhumane to kill, but slavery.
Right? Yeah, but yeah, that's true. Like, because they're not like friends. Like they treat them like you're gonna do what I want, and you're gonna fucking like it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a bit hypocritical. I don't know. Anyways, this contrasts with an entire society built on arcane practices. I want to note that the author, Nishi Osamu, is also behind Marimashita Iruma-kun, a story about a human boy in a demon hog. Wow, what a fucking coincidence that we're covering the same two manga
Is that
this
actually
month.
true?
I think he's the same author, yeah. Hold on, let's see.
That would explain why the comedy is very similar between the two. Although I
Yeah,
would say
but
Demon School is much funnier.
Demon School's way funny. I think it thrives on its setting. So I think it being in a singular setting in school and this repetitive atmosphere it takes advantage of that. They very much are into the displacement thing. I call it displacement because fish out of water doesn't work. You need to keep splashing the fish with because plot or it will die. There's no displacement. He thrives. I don't get it. There isn't any displacement.
He doesn't feel like he's out of place at all. He's winning.
He's winning. He's fucking winning all the time. But with the person introduces ideas and practices to the new world society, things develop from there. There hasn't been much development. Everyone's just so gasping and awing, to this character, and that's just it.
We don't really know anything about the magic world. They go there, they're told what's going on, and they get sent on a mission 2 chapters later.
Yeah, and it's just a hench and repeat every time. It's like you get introduced to like other characters and stuff like that. It's the same chemistry, same formula. It's a well-written manga, even more focused compared to Iruma-kun. It's not. I would say it's more focused. I would say it's more linear. I think.
Yeah, because I only got to read 25 chapters of Iruma-kun, but like within just a few chapters, they're already starting to like establish mini goals and introducing new concepts constantly to like diversify it a little bit.
Like I've read the full 425, so it's one of the reasons why I couldn't finish Nausicaa this month is because I kept reading Iruma-kun.
If I had more time, I was enjoying it. The chapters go by very quickly with that.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very easy to binge. Yeah, Irma is more willing to run off and do an idle arc randomly. Yeah, it's just fun. It's Irma-kun is literally a fish out of water situation, which is actually good. He is learning and overcoming, and we get that sense in Ichi the Witch. There is no sense of overcoming. He's just there. He fucking thrives. Ichi, you never had and they kind of just throw a broom at him. It's like, you don't know how to use a broom, right? And then he just like doing like Tony Hawk 360 ollie flip, in the next second, and it's just like, okay.
Well, even though like the first magic that he acquires that turns him into a male witch is supposed to be like one of the most dangerous things in the world, and he kills it with like a single knife stab.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Also, like Iruma-kun, the adults here are responsible. They don't endanger children just because this is shonen. Something so basic, yet I rarely come. I don't think that's much of a. I'm not saying like yay, no child abuse. It's more along the lines like who cares.
Do they really? They still send them out on.
They still send them out. They still send them out.
Go prove yourself to us and go hunt this dangerous feral wolf that could kill you. Like after they just met him.
This electric fox that has known to kill people, you go fight it. So if Ichi is a fish out of water, then he's a fish who can run, walk, talk, write poetry, etc. Exactly. Yeah, that is perfect way of putting it.
Except for writing poetry, he would never be able to do that.
Yeah, but there is no character. There is no big character flaw. His only character flaw, it seems, is that he's hyper responsive to killer intent. Yeah. That seems to be it. At least in Fairy Tail, Natsu got motion sickness. When he's the thing, and it was used to a comedic effect. I hate Fairy Tail, but I acknowledge like good mechanics when I see it. But this is just It's just I know what to force onto MRC with the last line about adults sending kids. Is it Pokemon? I bet it's Pokemon.
Okay, I love Pokemon. Hurt me with it just a little bit, please.
To be fair, it'll be interesting to read the Pokemon manga if we have to.
I've heard it's fucking brutal. Like
I hear it's brutal. Yeah. Apparently, Sabrina's in Team Rocket. That's what I've heard.
I do challenge runs in Nuzlocke, so I'm already okay with Pokemon suffering cruel fates. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited to see what you come up. Rose and Maiden 2. Oh no, 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 really, don't do Rose and Maiden 2. No. All right. So now for the mixed feelings. This manga follows the successful Shonen Jump model for manga, taking a bit from a lot of successful stories in a way that even seems to be engineered to be the most generic possible. I absolutely fucking agree. It's very formulaic. The art style is good, not overly edgy as most modern manga are, having a lot more Magi-like one on with some things very common in comedy mangas. It is true, actually, even down to the comedic effects with the characters. Can we get a zoom in on some characters if possible? I don't know. I think we have to jump to the first chapter. Here we go. Like how the sorts of how the characters are drawn for comedic effect close up. It seems quite, and even like drawings like this is very Magi like, I think. All Ru MOC coming soon to be Psych Ward near I don't know. But yeah, it's anyways, manga like one with some things very common in comedy mangas. I'm all against the story starting with an already superpowered protagonist, as he seems to be too stacked already in the first 10 chapters. In this, it really take any weight that anything in story could have. Okay. I think I understand what he means. The grammar's not 100% there, but
yeah, he's basically saying that there's no weight to anything because he's just too strong.
He's just too strong, and there's no sense of challenge. For the world building, it's a magic world with monsters and a magic association. Nothing new, but it's cool. But the characters. ... If you have read any isekai where the characters go to a world where women are the only ones that can do something, he's the only male that can do that. What can the thing they do is like I'm breaking down mentally. You basically will already know all the character tropes used. As for they haven't really have any misandry. I haven't seen any misandry in this manga whatsoever.
No, there's been plenty of times where like he's been like saved briefly by one of them or like they've had us back. They haven't made any of the women be useless or anything like that.
All right, Wavs. Ruru can do it because she's been saving up a shit ton of points, and she's gonna just cash it all in, like, and destroy us all. As for the protagonist, he is basically Tanjiro too. It's easy to read, and I hope become better because right now it's still a bland manga. Yeah.
It's an odd thing to say Tanjiro too, when like Tanjiro has like a motivation immediately in his story for doing stuff, and he's also not even able to hurt demons when he first meets them.
Like Tanjiro, I would say is a bread and butter character that is sort of amplified and added depth by the characters surrounding him. You know, Ichi is a bread and butter character who that has no depth and nothing. And there's nothing else on the table that's providing any depth whatsoever.
Yeah, well, I'm just even talking about circumstance-wise. Like, you know, you gotta like look at the way the characters deal with their stories. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't remember a single time in Demon Slayer when Tanjiro just has like an easy win. They always make the fights always have some sort of complication to it, but like Ichi has never struggled once.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And also just in terms double back to character motivations, Tanjiro is, you know, has a pretty rough start. It's a rough start.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever got something like a power up easy in Demon Slayer. In terms like everything, he was basically beaten black and blue throughout the entire series. I think just the only thing is he's always done it with a smile on his face. Basically, it's the best way of putting it.
Yeah. Which, you know, it is part of the genre, and I can deal with that. But like, if you're gonna compare Ichi to somebody, at least compare him to like a protagonist who like insta wins everything.
Yeah. So yeah. So I think the 6 out of 10 is definitely warranted, and I definitely agree with this person.
That's what I rated it.
Yeah, I definitely would like. It's like 7. The 7.8 score I think is too high that they got on Mal. All right, so this one's not recommended. So this one's going to be a bit harsher, I think. New Shonen Jump series made by famous author and artist. Everyone is praising it like it's the second coming of Jesus. Jesus. Okay, so it should be good, right? I think not. First of all, the manga has terrible storytelling and pacing. Chapters 1 to 3 were spent a lot of info dumps and expositions with no actual progress. I agree. Yeah. There is no such thing as a goal, premise, or even character protagonist motivation other than I want to hunt. So what? That's all? Then in chapter 4, the so-called world building is introduced, which shows the capital city, and then the author threw it away without an explanation about it and wasted time with many unnecessary chapters with lame jokes and a few blank characters that I found very boring and had zero impact. Nothing at all. Please put a full stop just to fill fillers after fillers, and finally my patience. So many commas ran out of this dumb shark arc chapter that still didn't do anything to the story or plot at all, and decided to write this review. Jesus Christ. So, I definitely agree. I think the shark chapter was one of those filler episodes that they just inserted in, and it was like so poorly done. It felt like
I already forgot that happened.
Yeah, it was like, I think the shark trial was make something beautiful.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was stupid.
That was stupid, yeah. It looked like it was going to be interesting, and then it just turned into some like generic tropey shit. Now let's talk about the characters, which is what people praise the most. I myself found them quite funny at first, but they got old quite quickly due to the lack of stakes, tension, consequences. Everything is convenient for them, just because. And the result is that these characters seem more shallow than they really look. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Even with Deskara's implied hard backstory, and we're only getting like a taste of it in the most recent chapters, I think that's come out.
Yeah.
Even then, I've like that ship has sailed. I've missed the boat. I don't care. At that, you know.
Well, it's just like it's the classic like someone in my family died from something, and that's my motivation, and that's all we have to care about with it. And it's a very generic motivation.
Yeah. Am I so out of touch? Like, no, it's the manga that's at fault. Seriously, why should I care or sympathize about these characters if nothing will happen to them anyway? Yeah, I mean, quirky character doesn't mean a good character, and this series is an example of that. I wouldn't even call him quirky. He's just like,
no.
He's like, Ichi isn't even that quirky, to be honest. He doesn't like pushing any social norms or anything like that. He's pretty like everyone's just kind of clamoring around him.
Yeah, well, because like again, like talking about the author's other series, like I think that cast is very quirky, but in a way that lends to its comedy.
The setting is incredibly generic and just something I've seen a million times before. People hate Exorcist manga and accusing them of being uncreative and uninspired, but of course they will swallow this shit. Wow, this guy's got a grudge. Whatever this Exorcist manga is, I'm guessing it's Blue Exorcist. Or maybe Twin Star Exorcist. Or Make the Exorcist Fall in Love with Me. I don't know. There's a bunch, to be fair. But, yeah, he's got a grudge. He's carrying a grudge with this. In terms of art, I think it's average, not as good as many people say, and the action scenes and choreography still need a lot of work. Let's take a look actually at the combat real quick. So if we were to jump to chapter 3, for example. So this is like your pretty standard fight scene, I would say. So you got a character.
I would say the paneling is fine for fights. They're like it's dynamic and like interesting to look at. It just they're over way too quick.
I think so. I think it's just lack of. So there are a sense of visuals and there is a dynamic sense of movement. So like we got this character here, and then we see the thing, then we see the rope tug, and then we jump here. You know, so it does have a sense of flow. I think this person's a bit overly critical about that. But yeah, I think the problem is everything ends too quickly. Everything is resolved resolved too quickly, and there's just kind of like also it's also I think it's a detriment of its own setting, where the setting is magic power versus magic power. You're not going to get that much choreography. It's going to be point and shoot all the time. So
Yeah, that's true.
we have to take that with a grain of salt too, because it's
That being said, I mean, there are a lot of things that exist. I mean, look at, again, things like Hunter x Hunter or Yu Yu Hakusho. That's a manga artist who was able to make fights with people with like magic abilities that aren't always using their fist in very unique and interesting ways.
that is true. Yeah. But it seems that the author is basically the magic trumps all sort of thing. It feels like even with Ichi's hunter instinct or whatever, it just feels like it's using it as an excuse as a smokescreen to cover for like it's just might makes right, sort of style. And it is pretty generic. In terms of art, I think it's average, not as good as many people say. The action scenes and choreography, so yeah, it is average, I would say. I think it's nice. The character designs and face are quite nice and distinctive. Do I think it's amazing? Like, oh, this is really good art or something like that? Not really. There are some good 2-page panels I've seen, but there isn't enough detail to them to make me go, oh, wow, this is really good, I think.
Yeah, it's solid, but it's not like an all timer. Like I have to tell, like I need to show people what this looks like. It's so impressive looking.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this series has garbage pacing. Edit. I read up to chapter 11. This manga is as dumb as ever. I decided to drop it. This series has no substance. There is no direction or plot other than things happen randomly. The characters beside the black woman have no characterization whatsoever, and Ichi is an incredibly boring protagonist to me. If this is successful only because the author's artist name is carrying its ass, then shonen is done for. Believe me, if something like Iruma that I quit after the first chapter because it was so bad, serialized Shonen Jump instead of Champion, which is considered the weakest of all shonen manga magazines, it would definitely be cancelled at volume 3.
A little hyperbolic, just a little bit.
That guy would love that one isekai about the serial killer. Well, you mean serial killer isekai, which is literally its name. Listen, I'm just gonna. I don't like putting people in the spotlight, but I am very curious what he's read. I'm very curious.
We have to see what is he like. What is he impressed by?
He's got Fire Punch on his. Oh, he's read A Witch's Life in Mongol, so he's already based. Centuria, Chainsaw Man, Class of Brains, Dan Da Dan, Dogs Red, Draw This Then Die. There's some stuff I haven't even seen before. No, this guy's based. He's very cultured. I can't fault him for his criticisms, honestly.
Maybe just a little bit too angry at it, but I mean, he's entitled to be upset at things.
Yeah. He's a little. I get. I get the. He's very. It feels like he's stabbing a corpse very passionately. Really.
But, he reads most of what the magazine publishes, so I guess he's just compared to other things that are being syndicated. He's just like, this does not make me happy.
He gave Witch's Life in Mongol 8, which I think is pretty good. That's. He gave Chainsaw Man 4 based. He gave Dan Da Dan a 4 less based.
Boring and pointless as fuck. I don't agree with that. I like Dan Da Dan.
True soft Hunter x Hunter is a true soft seinen. 10 out of 10 Hunter x Hunter. Jujutsu Kaisen is an 8. Ugh. Kagurabachi is a 6. That's pretty fair. That's very.
Yeah, that's about where I'd put it too. From what I've read about 80 chapters of it, and
Kingdom
it's
is
fine.
A 10. Mages of the Library is less than a 9. Get the fuck out of here. I trusted you. Get the fuck out. What did he write anything? No, he hasn't wrote anything. I trusted you. Get out of my house. It's not a 9 or above. Get the fuck out. All right, let's move on to the next manga. We got the. Let's actually follow up with the same author.
Demon School, right?
Demon School,
might
yeah.
as well.
Oh my
Now that
god,
we know that.
right off the back. That's crazy cool. Once again, Manga Reading Club coming at you with these crazy coincidences. Once again, I think we had a month where we had like 2 works, one with the father and one with a daughter or something like that. Works, I think.
Oh, okay, like similar to like the Baki guy and the Beastars. Like
I think we did. I don't think we did Bucky though. I think it was something else, but I can't remember what it was. Or maybe it'd been similar same works. All right, Demon School Irumata-kun. So this is actually it is a good manga. I like Iruma. He's entertaining. He's always seen as he's this poor soul character with a heart of gold that is just trying to get by and just live his best life. I think is the best way of putting it. We did read stuff from Paru several times, so if we read anything from Baki off of, there's a chance it was that family. Maybe. I don't think it... I'm trying to remember what it was, but I don't think we read anything Baki. Anyways. Security... So yeah, we are met with these characters, and it's quite nice. It's quite nice. So Iruma being the main character, here we go, the first chapter. We're just thrown into this situation where he somehow ends up into this demon school. Already, I really like the art style. I love the set. I love the way the line work is done. It's very popping and dynamic. It's not the most detailed artwork out there, but it's very standout. Yeah, it's still ongoing. It's still going. I've been reading Iruma for 5 years now. If anything happens to him or Ali, I will kill everyone involved. Yep. I think you do have a fondness for the characters, and the dynamic is absolutely entertaining. I think these off-screen parents are the biggest scumbags in the world.
We love them because without them the story doesn't start.
Exactly. It's just like they use as a comedic platform sort of thing. But he had to do this and this to survive, and it's sort of unlike Ichi. It's used successfully in a comedic effect, and it actually provides context to a situation that he's able to overcome, like eating a shit ton of food or cleaning or something.
Yeah, and I think there are times even from the small bit I've read where they'll be put him, especially the first few chapters, they purposely like create a situation where like how's he gonna overcome this, and then they subvert your expectation on how it goes through, and then they make that as a launch pad to make it really funny.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Kalik. So just providing context, we are going through this month, and one of the manga we just finished off was covering Ichi the Witch. And funny enough, we are also covering Demon School, which we just found out it's the same author. So, yeah. Anyways, resuming. So the goal is not clear in this manga. I think ultimately the ultimate goal is Iruma-kun becomes Demon King. I think that's what the sort of idea that's planted in everyone's mind, so to speak. I think there's a lot of foreshadowing that's inserted here and there, which I think it's done really well, and it really adds a lot of interest. I think there is thinking of going back to Ichi the Witch. There was zero foreshadowing, I think, whatsoever. I think they mentioned Descara having a troubled childhood, or like facing obstacles to get where she is, but it felt so what's it called? Unconcerning at the time.
Yeah, and even the World Eater being introduced, he just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, he was like, bro's just there, bro. He's just there. Oh, that's just World Eater.
I'm bad. I'm scary.
I just see it as him constantly trying to avoid being deported by demon border patrols. Yeah, it's just... It's very nice, and I love the character. I love the character dynamics in this. So where we just came back from a series with lack of any character dynamics, and we have a series with a plethora of character dynamics. While they do seem, what's the best way of putting it, fairly vanilla, and sometimes pretty bland, seemingly. There's lots of you see a lot of growth and development between them, and a lot of good what's the word? I don't know. I spaced out now. I can't think of a word, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. For me, like I haven't covered nearly as much as you have for it, but I think it's really interesting how they use recontextualization of like a demon setting supposed to be very scary, very dangerous, and all the demons are all about that. And then they're having, Aruma meet these demons and like basically befriend them, even though they don't understand the concept of that. And like it's like bringing a new life to that world that they don't understand, and then through that, his relationships and their dynamics, they're like evolving and changing from it, and it has a very dynamic like evolvement because of that.
Absolutely, I 100% agree. I think we do see the emotional payoff as well in these interactions. This manga isn't combat heavy. I think when people go into this manga, they think it's going to evolve into some sort of battle shonen. I I don't think this manga is about. I don't consider this manga as a battle shonen. There's some fight scenes. I would even call them fight scenes. Like sort of, I would call them action scenes more like, but
Yeah, it's definitely more of like a comedy, right? Like I feel like it's trademark
comedy,
like,
daily life. It's very daily life sense, I think, but it plays it so well, and there is a strong sense of continuity and growth that you can't help but feel like it's gonna keep growing to the point where it's gonna become Goku versus Frieza, by the end of it. You get that sort of sense of growth, but whether or not it happens, but it's just because we're so enticed and pulled in by these characters, we want them to see them live up to their full potential, unlike in Ichi the Witch, which Kalix just said no character dynamics. Who wrote that? A child? The same one who wrote this. The same person. This is the same person who wrote that, which is mind-boggling to me the further we continue this conversation.
Yeah, it always makes you wonder if like they just don't know how to do a pure serious storyline and storytelling, and they're just better at doing like isolated small stuff and just taking it from there.
Who's the publisher behind Demon School? Because we know Ichi the Witch is Shonen Jump. I'm just wondering, is Demon School not Shonen Jump? I feel like this might be an exact case of conflict of publishers.
Weekly Shonen Champion.
Weekly Shonen, so it's on Champion. Okay, yeah, the guy in the review mentioned that. That's true. It's got great scenes. I love the artwork. It really adds to that sort of the art style really adds to that sort of wild demonic flair. Especially with the line work and the shading, it really adds to that sort of wildness to it, to the setting. This could just be a school, but it's not just a school, it's a demon school, and it really adds to the flavor of that, which I think it's really well done.
Yeah, I think for me, again, similar to Ichi, I'm not like in love with the art personally, but for different reasons. Like I think of the lack of detail is what I don't like as much here. And I must just not like this guy as a character designer very much either. I think the characters look okay in this, but I do think he does a lot of effort to add personality through the simplicity that makes up for the pitfalls that are the shortcomings that are there. Where like Ichi's got a lot of more detail in it, but then like there's not any personality to the detail. So it's a trade off. I think Ichi's got cooler detailed art, but like I just don't find myself invested in the emotion or the comedy ever. Where this one is not as detailed, but they're good at making it be more expressive, and it's more interesting to look at, even if it doesn't have as much of a higher threshold of art skill.
So, CWAVs, who's up to date like I am, says I do think the art and designs improve as it goes on. I definitely agree. If we were
That
to,
is fair.
I'm just I'm just gonna jump to like 200 chapters in. Let's
Because
say
like this has been on for years now, so this is like early in their mangaka career.
you can see that the line work it's sort of similar, but it's more solid now. It's less scratchy compared to what it was
Yeah,
in the
okay,
first
yeah,
few
yeah. It
chapters.
already looks a lot better. It's got
It's
a lot more of like what he's been taking into his other current
yeah,
stuff.
absolutely, yeah. So there's a sense of there is a sense of improvement involved in this.
Well,
Let's
that's
see.
exciting
So
because I'm
it's
going to be reading more of it.
something to look forward to as you read this manga. I mean, the most dramatic I think in terms of art style changes, with character design from like beginning to end is probably Bleach, where we have like Ichigo chapter 1 versus Ichigo in the final chapter. It's dramatic.
Yeah,
Actually, scratch that. That's not the most dramatic. It's probably chapter 1 Josuke A to the last chapter of part 4 Josuke.
yeah. Well, I also
Joe,
feel that way for like I Shield 21. Like the beginning, like there's so much more detail from the beginning to the end of that series too.
can we get like a just picture example? I just want. Yeah, you can see. Oh wait, that's just anime versus manga. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Okay, never mind. Just open. Where is the damn open image in new tab? There we go. I'm not sure if you guys can see. Yeah, like chapter 1 versus the final chapter is like night and day. They're not even the same people.
Oh yeah, he really went from the old school like
Battle
80 action
shonen,
star
yeah,
body,
Kenshiro
yeah, to
inspired to more of the
what would
what's it,
become JoJo.
fashion designer sort of art style. What series is this, Marimashita? Yeah, we just did Ichi the Witch. You missed out on the whole blasting of Ichi the Witch. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's ass, but it's pretty bland. I think is the best way of Ichi the Witch. Anyways, continuing with Marimashita, shockingly by the same author, it's really enjoyable. It's quite nice. The characters are likable. There's a lot of there's a lot of foreshadowing, and the foreshadowing really pulls you in. And there's all this implied history between different characters as well, which just it makes you very curious, and it pulls you in even more, like especially with this butler character where he's mentioning his relationship with his homeschool teacher and so on like that. It's kind of, yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's shockingly we found out, we were just like looking at, we were reading one of the reviews, and one of the reviewers mentioned that it's the same author, which we find shocking, which
I would have
hilarious.
never guessed if you would have asked me to come up with that. They do not feel like the same person.
It still has what do you mean by still has the hole, right? The hole.
Yeah, what hole are you talking about?
Sorry, I'm a bit spaced out on that. What do you mean by the hole?
Oh,
Also, hello, Amber Crackers. I don't believe we've formally met.
are you talking about like hole punches like in a book, or like what type of holes are we talking about?
Oh, sorry, you changed the name. Oh, my model. Oh, yeah, it's probably still got some holes in there. The color filter probably caught a couple of parts in my book. Yeah, there were a bunch. Yeah. Oh, sorry, it's been a while, Umbra. I completely forgot we've met. Yeah. There's probably still some. I kind of tweaked with the color filter a while back, and I think I've resolved it. But there might be a couple of strays here and there. Stray pixels. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry for the confusion. Anyways, I like the system of this manga. There's no clear defined power system per se. It's more of attributed to like the demon families and their abilities and sort of like their own personal quirks is the best way of putting it, which just adds to the sort of personification of the characters themselves. It's more attributed to the personalities rather than rather than them exploiting a power or whatever, that sort of thing.
I think my favorite thing is it's just consistently funny.
The Black Clover system of making up Ezigars, I mean they use books and they add chapters, and there's a sense of what's the best way of putting it, growth, because I know there's like, oh, they become stronger, they add new chapters of the books, and there's like new abilities and so on like that. There's Iruma, there's no clear leveling up sort of scale to it. It's just like, oh, he's strong, he's not strong. It doesn't even matter because it's not even the purely battle setting anyways. It's it just I think it just exemplifies their sort of position in the hierarchy within the story.
Yeah, I mean, even in like one of the very first things they had to do, which was like this race to get to a specific place, the most physically powerful character was one of the people who lost because like strength is not everything in this.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's just really fun. It's just really funny. I think there's some really solid funny moments in this, especially particularly this scene, which I will steal and make into an emoji later.
Yeah, I think him, and then one of my favorite comedy things in the first little bit was the student council president's discovery of falling in love with manga. Really, really great.
Absolutely. I think I just reminded of the scene now. I just saw but I think it does. I think it just does. I think it does what it needs to do, everything right within its setting. It wants to be that sort of daily life, fish out of water thing with a sort of magical twist to it. And it does that. I don't think, it implies there's like it gives you the sense that it's going to be combat heavy later on, but it just doesn't. I don't feel like it does. It's just very character driven stories. But it's not to its own detriment that it does that. It just, it thrives on it even, which I find very surprising. The more I think,
nice.
The more I
just
think
considering
about it,
the fact that so many of these type of series tend to get to like end of the world big battle focus, so it's nice to have something that actually focuses on its core cast. It's been a big component the entire time.
Absolutely. I mean, there's even like a part of the story where it's sort of like a time skip training arc, and it's not even like that majorly combat thing. It's more affected to the like their own personalities, I would say, more than actual combat.
It's like something in common with the manga that we've read is 2 of these manga have had dodgeball or volleyball training arcs. We've had little ball arcs. Like this one's got a dodgeball training arc, and it's really silly. It's not like really combat focused.
Yeah, exactly. It's very just like traditional daily life sort of story with a sense of, rather than it just being a reoccurring gag, it's there is a sense of progression and continuity.
Yeah, and I think the characters have fun, unique personalities that play off of each other really well too.
This is very and you get some really cool facial expressions and really cute art that comes into it. There are like there's a romance thing as well. I think there's like a split thing between what's her name, Aomori, and this character, and I am team Aomori. Is her name Aomori? I can't remember the names. I'm very terrible. I'm an awful person.
I can't remember the names of almost anything right now.
She's the head of she's the president of the discipline. Yeah, the student council. Yeah, that one.
That makes sense. They already started setting that up early. It was funny seeing his friend
Amory. That was it. Thank you. But yeah, it's
oh, that's right. Yeah, it's because it's Amelie in the translation I've been reading.
Oh, okay. It's so yeah. I think it's got very good. It's got a very entertaining romance aspect as well. Oh, I think it's very like Nisekoi leading you on sort of thing with nothing actually happening, but you can't help but just drink it up, so to speak. Beelzebub does the same thing, and I fucking love the love triangle in that too. Just as much as I love the love triangle in this as well. I am very much Team Amory. I think a lot of people are. I think if there was a poll, she'd probably be winning in that regard.
So far from where I'm at, I would be that way too. I just think I like the other two as just like really deep, nice friends more.
Yeah, they're just like very good friends, and I like that sort of thing. There's like, you know, there's possibility of like romance, and there are some very cute romantic scenes, but it's never flat out like love or anything that's like any like proper confessions or anything like that, which I'm fine with. I'm happy this goes, this keeps going the way it goes till it goes into the fucking thing, you know, until the Earth rotates off its axis into the infinite void for all I care, you know, like. But yeah, it's like, yeah, characters are nice. You got some really cool spreads like this one here as well. There are really good moments, and it just gets better further on with the ever evolving art style as it goes on through these series.
Yeah, it's a lot more. I guess it shows, you know, how you were complimenting his monster design and Ichi, and this series is primarily monster-esque people.
But it's not really as strong. I wouldn't say it's as strong though. It's very. It is creative in terms of monster designs, but it's more like fun in per se, rather than Ichi being very battle orientated.
Yeah, this is I definitely find this series just to be a very light, fun read. It's very easy to just fly through the chapters.
The stakes feel pretty low. I think there was a very big emotionally weighted thing that happened in the latest chapters that ties to Iruma's past, which I won't spoil, but I'll say that much. And it's really good. It feels huge. But
well, you know, considering that you've read so much of his content at that point, you are emotionally invested in.
Yeah, by that point, yeah. That is true. I mean, the fact that I've read 400 plus chapters is proof already that I really enjoyed it. Yeah, but it's nice.
I love how he just helps this bird, and the bird starts helping him.
Yeah, I quite liked it because it's just like kindness is so alien in this demon world. It's like no one ever thought to do it. That sort of perspective, which I find it's more entertaining and feels more rewarding.
Turning the head on what the demon world perspective is fun.
And it's more fun. It's more fun that way than what Ichi was trying to do with its whole hunting instead of, you know, doing trials and stuff like that.
I would agree, 100%. Yeah, I've only read half to a third of much of this manga as I did Ichi, and I had significantly more fun with it.
Clara's latest arc probably helped a lot. Yeah, absolutely. I won't spoil because it is really good, and I think it's, you know, we'll keep this one short because we'll just be talking in circles forever. All right, so the score for this one is 8.3, really good score. It's in the top 300. Popularity is 254. Very good scores on both ends. Can we get even higher is the big question. Unlike Ichi the Witch, the art was also done by the author, unlike in Ichi the Witch where the art was kind of delegated to a different artist, it seems.
I see.
So Iruma, so Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun is written and drawn by the same person, whereas in Ichi Witch is just written by Welcome to Demon School.
That would explain how they're able to do multiple manga at the same time.
Yeah, that's yeah. I am curious though, if I just I'm just curious who did the art for, because they were people talk Uzaki. Oh, 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 oh no. Okay. Okay. So I wonder why I kind of liked Ichi, the Witch's art style, and now I know why, because it's fucking Act Age, and it was one of my favorite mangas until something controversial happened. Basically, the author so it was the same case as so Act Age had an author and artist duo setting, but the author basically got arrested for pedophilia.
Great, another one like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy for the artist that she got work again, but I feel bad now because I really was excited for her, to get new work, and it wasn't for pedophilia. It wasn't. All right, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay.
Well, that's equally terrible.
That's
actually probably worse.
That's yeah. Oh my god. All right. And it's straight Ichi.
Hey, there are worse things. If it's successful, then that might launch them to be another manga later.
That's so crushing. Okay, yeah, same thing, but basically he didn't get nabbed for media. He was a sex pest. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I remember though, when it came to the author of Act Age, he wrote, like, you know how at the end of each magazine they have like author thoughts and stuff like that. They write things and stuff like that. I remember in the end of one chapter, the author of Act Age wrote, I recently got a bike and I've started to enjoy cycling lately. And then I found out about him getting arrested, and in the news article he tried to flee on his bike.
It was all part of the greater narrative.
It was the perfect narrative.
He was a storyteller. That's what he was there for.
He was
terrible human being and a storyteller.
That folks is real foreshadowing right now. That's laying the plot down. All right, so 16 recommended, 2 mixed feelings, and 1 not recommended. So I feel like it's very polarizing for Demon School. I'll be interested to see what these mixed feelings and not recommended is. I definitely feel like it's going to be someone very salty on the net recommended.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like it being a comedy, by default, it's gonna just not to be to somebody's taste, probably, and they're gonna think it's just boring.
Yeah, like I think they're gonna be very upset. I think in their mind they were expecting it to evolve into some like big climactic battle shonen series, but it just doesn't. It's just like it does have action scenes, but it's not a battle series. The crime is what the bike was for. He grabbed randomly while riding by. Oh no. This is going to be a spoiler-free and short review. This person has read 124 chapters. Good amount. The story is, in my view, is unique and interesting. The pacing is without issues, in my view, and the flows really well. I think so. I think it's the sequence of events are pretty good, and that the way they foreshadow things really pulls you along and makes you excited for upcoming chapters. The art is fine. It is detailed when it needs to be. It is not when it's to make something comedic or to draw attention. It is endearing and is definitely pleasant to look at. Yeah, it's pretty much that. I can't. Yeah, I wouldn't say like the art is definitely an 8 out of 10. I don't think at best. I don't think it's like a 9 or a 10 high class art. But 8 is still a good score. Yeah. This is perhaps my favorite part of Marimashita. It can't seem to help but love every character. When a character is first introduced, I didn't tend to like them, but that is quickly swept away when they mesh so well with the rest of the cast. Yeah, absolutely. Character dynamics and character building is just its strongest aspect, and it just does it so wonderfully well. I binged this all in one night. So you read 124 chapters in one night. It just goes to show, how easy it is to binge this manga. The fact that I was,
I only got to sit down like twice to read it, and I was able to read through almost 30 chapters in that time.
Yeah, exactly. I love this manga so much. 10 out of 10, basically. Okay, so this one gives it a 4 out of 10. This is mixed. Okay, so I begin watching Iruma-kun as an anime back when it first aired, and then I immediately moved on to the manga. So this person read 333 chapters. I really enjoyed the gang being up to no good and seeing Iruma progress to being the demon lord that Sullivan wanted him to be as his grandson. I really liked a lot of the characters surrounding Iruma, and like I didn't actually mind at first having a lot of them because they really blended the story well, and I always got a chuckle from every chapter as it can be seriously funny. However, that all changed when the Fire Nation attacked, changed recently when the author decided to add even more characters by sticking them in there without context and not involving the charms around the story it once had. It was as if author-san just completely went to a complete different direction from what I thought was going to be about Iruma's goals. It's becoming even more draggy now, which is disappointing because I've read this manga for a long time. Now I forgot to put a comma like I thought it had potential, but no, now you put it, but not anymore. Okay, so deciphering from that word jargon, and it seems that this person just doesn't like the direction the story is going.
I guess like a lot too, right? Because like a 4 is a pretty low score for reading it for that long, and then just being disappointed with the current directions.
I mean, you read 330 chapters and you gave it a 4, which is kind of like, I would even give Fairy Tail a 4, and I hate Fairy Tail for what it did, but it took my land, it burned it down, it killed my wife.
It is the Fire Nation.
It is the Fire Nation. But no, I don't know. It seems more salty. It seems salty.
Doesn't recommend it, and he gave it a higher score than the mixed guy did.
Oh my god, yeah, fuck. Alright, but are no negative reviews on this series. Only 217 are mixed, and so let me be the first one to recommend skipping this series. Oh, the drama. I love this past tense. Now I'm frustrated with where it's going. I watched the anime where it first came out, and I have huge respect for the Scanlation team for catching up considering how far behind we were. The official English translation is about 30 volumes behind. Fucking hell. I have physical volumes of the series, but quite frankly, I have become disillusioned with the series as it has gone on. Iruma-kun has the same problem as One Piece and Detective Conan. You take that fucking back. You don't diss Detective Conan. It's the main driver of sales of the magazine it is printed in. After Beastars ended, the main reason people kept buying Weekly Shonen Champion is because of Iruma-kun. This makes it so Iruma ideally keeps on going forever, so the magazine always has one series to hook you. Like One Piece in Weekly Shonen Jump and Detective Conan in Shonen Sunday. I disagree, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It makes it so the author eventually has to make way to put many ideas on page without selection implication. This seems more of a conspiracy theory than an actual review. Just like One Piece, the world gets less whimsical and escapist the longer it goes on. The world building expands, but you lose the qualities that made the story fun once upon a time. The sense of the unknown and that anything could happen is gone. It's made worse by there being way too many characters. The vibe of the series is not what it once was. He just doesn't vibe with it. is both exhilarating and frustrating. He's saying exhilarating, which is crazy. But he gave it a 6. I have to remind myself he gave it a 6, so it's not even that bad of a score. These days, I find it mostly frustrating, mostly because Irokun is not the only series with this issue. I understand that people have mixed feelings on the series. I do too. I would not recommend it. Long series where the reason for continuity is so clearly linked with money are not worth it. I don't know. I just disagree. It's just a series that goes at its own pace, but that's just,
Yeah, so I'm curious from your perspective, since we've had 2 people that you read reviews for who, after looks like about at least the 300
300 plus
chapters threshold somewhere, they didn't like that the series decided to expand itself a little bit and do some new things. How do you feel about it? Were you invested in, like, interested in that when it was doing those things?
I think so. I think because I knew what I was getting into with the series. I knew it wasn't going to be one of those, because I've seen snippets of later seasons and stuff like that, but I knew it wasn't going to be, action heavy, so to speak. It was going to be quite very character driven in that regard. Okay, here we go. Here's a review with 300 plus 300 chapters. This one gave it a 9. But yeah, it's not. I don't even find. I understand where they're coming from, but I think I don't think it's I feel like it was something I signed up for. Like I kind of felt like I knew what was going to happen. Like, these, with enough experience, especially with Detective Conan and One Piece, this is kind of the sort of natural flow I see in these sorts of stories. Especially these long-running stories where you have like an ever-expanding cast, and you have this world and these sort of plot holes that you want to be answered, and those holes are being filled slowly. And it just, that world starts to feel smaller and less fun, so to speak. It has that less of that wonder it once had, which is, which I understand. It becomes, frustrating for readers. I get that too. To quote Pirates of the Caribbean, is like, the world's still the same, mate. It's just less in it, basically.
Yeah, well, and I think sometimes people don't tailor their expectations to the stuff that they're experiencing. They want it to be a specific way, but that's not what the author's intention is. They're trying to keep their series fresh and interesting, or they have something that they were setting up for a very long time that now they're finally getting to. It's not necessarily a bad thing to have more characters. It's just it's a different vibe and flow and intention of what the story's doing at that point.
Yeah, because it could easily go like another way, and it could just become like, it just leaves the holes unanswered, and it just becomes Gohan syndrome, where meet potential man but never lives up to it, that sort of thing as well. So
For sure. And obviously there's a lot of series. Naruto and Bleach are great examples. I have love-hate with both of those series, like later arcs in them, because they just introduce so many fucking characters. But like, I was always invested in the main core cast regardless of what was happening.
I was very interested on the concept of a land of samurai, which never got fucking answered afterwards. It just got introduced as a neutral nation, and that was it. That was fucking it.
Yeah, and so like that definitely happens. Like, it's a thing with Giant Shonen with expanding stuff. So I don't necessarily, like, One Piece is an example. I love One Piece, and there are times where I've been frustrated with how overcomplicated towards the end of certain arcs have gotten in the recent years. But I do think that, like, that is all to work towards building up the overall narrative and story of One Piece as it leads to its eventual conclusion, which I imagine that's what this series is trying to do as well. It's introducing things to be set up to be important for when those big moments happen sometime in the near future.
Yeah, I think these people have mixed feelings, or like the negative reviews of Iruma-kun is kind of like, so far from what I've seen so far, is that they went to this manga thinking it was going to be something like Katekyo Hitman, where it turns from a gag series into something serious and very battle orientated and very dramatic. But it's not. I think it just sticks to this thing. The problem is it is ever expanding. So but that's an inherent problem. I don't think it's a problem like a character. I don't think it's a storytelling flaw or anything like that. It's just because it's now it's ever expanding. It's becoming difficult to keep track of
Right?
everyone.
Yeah. It ends up. It's more of like that's the way the story is told. It's not really bad or good. It's just what do you feel about that yourself with that sort of like like function and design around the characters.
I don't even consider it that messy, even. But yeah, it's just eventually when you have this sort of setting where you kind of build it and you have building character, you're building a cast and this world and this, and it's very character driven and relationships and building relationships and dynamics between characters, it's gonna hit that threshold basically. It might be an uncanny valley sort of curve where it's the payoff from meeting new characters kind of dwindles, diminishing return. Sorry, is what I meant to say, but yeah. Okay, let's take a look at this one review. Sorry.
What we definitely learned though is that mixed reviews are harsher than negative sometimes.
Yeah, it's always fun to see. It's always fun to see the sort of dissonance.
It's why ratings and numbers don't matter that much because a 4 and a 6 could be the same thing for different people.
For me, 5 is always like that's mid.
That's average.
That's
right?
mid. Yeah.
For me, 5 is average. It's like it's as average as possible.
Yeah, it's like the middest of the mid. That is the mid score. And if you go below 5, that means you're doing something bad. If you get above 5, that means you were average, but you had something to go for it.
Correct.
If you get 5, you're just bland and boring. Ichi is 5. Actually, if I think about it, Ichi's a flat 5. It's like a 5.5 because of art. Because if we're thinking about like in terms of starting from 5 and then adding points based on aspects, you get 5 middle, and then you add score for the character designs, add score for the art, and some of the world building, and that's it. You close off at 6, I think.
Yeah, I give it it's so slightly above average. I give it a 6 is where my heart feels on that.
All right, let's take a look at this review. This person has read, so this is the one review that, okay, so there are some other reviews that I've read, but this is the first one. Read 333 chapters. I've been meaning to write a review on this manga for a while now. Since I'm recommended it to everyone in real life, it is a very good read for those who enjoy comedy. Sorry, burping out. With great doses of sweetness and excellent found family trope. Yeah, found family. Yeah, everyone loves that.
Sure.
The storyline tells us about a boy who is sold to... Okay, you know what? Let's skip ahead to Okay. From the very start, we know that this manga is going to be light-hearted and full of wholesome moments. You are not going to find a complicated plot, but rather a relaxed story about school life, friendship, and finding your place in the world. That is exactly what I thought. This is the point I was trying to make before. I went into the series expecting that, so I wasn't really disappointed. I feel like these people weren't expecting that, and they thought it was going to evolve into something really complicated and battle-orientated. Jeez, that was a lot of words. So there are a few battles here and there too, and the characters do have techniques. The action scenes are relevant in certain arcs, and they are nicely executed, but they are not the main center point of this series. I think this is what this person's trying to say. The characters, of course, demons, and the author does not use real names associated with demonology. However, there's usually a twist in each name. For instance, Asmodeus is presented as an intimidating demon, but we soon find out another aspect of his personality. The same goes for many other demons who have deeper feelings and struggles that we may think at first. The character designs and personalities are very noteworthy. Although many of them respond to common shonen manga cliches, the parallels between this character and the ones in My Hero Academia, for example, are more than evident. On a final note, the main character does not come across as a Mary Sue sometimes, meaning that everyone seems to instantly like him and support him. Rather, he does face difficulties and struggles with relationships and self-consciousness. Lastly, the art is simple yet lovely. It's very easy to follow the story and the battles when there is one. In general, I highly recommend this manga to anyone looking for a light-hearted comedic story with endearing characters. Yeah, it's pretty much what it is. I think that, like I said before, there's going to be a conflict of people. Like, there's going to be a fracture between two groups of people who knew what they were getting into and people who didn't, and yeah, I feel like it was pretty clear for a bunch of people from the get-go that it was going to be that sort of light-hearted daily life sort of setting. I think the fact that people saw demons summoning and saw some action scenes here and there, they thought it was going to evolve into some big action series, battle shonen,
I literally knew nothing about it beforehand, so the very first chapter made me go, "Oh, that's what this kind of series is." Okay, cool.
Yeah. Some people just take it at face value, and some people have loved the character so much they have aspirations for them, and they're hoping for that Gohan effect to happen.
Right.
But the problem is with the Gohan effect, it'll never come. It'll never, He's always good, we're always gonna find, that sort of unending desire. I've said before, I think the average person tends to have their average drift towards number 7 because most people are biased. That's why I think people are wrong. Average should be 5. It shouldn't be 7.
It's out of 10. It's in the
that
fucking
means
middle,
everything
right?
below 6 or below is like shit. Then, and that is just too.
I mean, if you base that off of the way Mal and stuff is ranked, if something's a 6, you would go, "Oh no, I don't know if I should read that."
I know,
So
but that's because
of other people, right?
Because of other people. But if it was just purely based on my scoring system that everyone should follow,
the correct system.
and it's like only I am correct, All right, so yeah, I would definitely give Demon School like an 8 out of 10 for me. I think maybe if I on a good day, maybe worst day 7.5, like pretty good.
It's a 7 for me, but that's because I'm really early on and I haven't got to see all the best stuff yet. But it's good. I like it so far. I'm definitely gonna read more of it.
I'm gonna meet in the middle and say 7.7. But yeah, 7.7 is pretty good.
You know what? That's fine. All the 7s, only 7.
It's all good in the one or it could be that people generally read what they like, and then if they don't just give up on it, then boom, no rating. That's also a thing. That's also a thing as well. I think the only time people, oh my god, was giving a score above 6, truly revolutionary.
How dare you? I give plenty of higher scores. People just give me shit things. It's not my fault.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's talk about Beelzebub then. This is my one. So this is about Oga Tatsumi. He says the strongest juvenile delinquent, and he comes across a baby, and he has a contract to look up, and he ends up getting a contract with that demon baby to look after it, to raise it to become the next demon king, so to speak.
He's gonna be like him. He's gonna name him Aruma at some point.
And it's quite fun. I think the first 50 chapters, it's about Oga trying to circumvent and pass off the baby to someone else, and it's like his never-ending quest to find someone stronger than him, because he needs someone stronger than him to look after the baby. So he has to find. So it's that, which is the main motivation of the progression in terms of battles, and like upping the scale every time and taking on bigger challenges, only because he needs to find someone to take over as the new baby daddy, which I find hilarious. There's even like a funny skit where he's in a store robbery, and he's trying to like get one of the robbers to take over as the baby, but as the new baby's father. And I find this is really funny, and the baby has electrocution powers where when it cries and stuff like that. It's funny. I think the biggest turmoil with people is that the baby is naked.
You got to get over it at some point. My only biggest complaint with Beelzebub through the first 100 chapters for me is I don't find all of the fights that interesting or fun to read, because they're over very quickly, or it's just fist fighting.
It's just fist fighting, yeah.
All the comedy around it, and like the characters are more than make up for it, I would say.
Oh my god, there's so many other Beelzebub stuff nowadays.
Yeah. Is it really not the first thing that's coming up though? That's crazy.
Wow,
There it is.
Ichi's got a higher score than this. It's but you can see
That's because
like
it's better. What can you do? Like,
there's
it's
a
the
lot
greatest
less
manga in
reviews
Shonen Jump.
as well. But yeah, so this is a pretty old manga now. I think when did it first come out? Actually, that's
A while ago, right? I was like in the mid 2000s.
it won the Indonesia competition back in 2013. I don't know when this manga came up.
First debuted in
Can I?
2010. It looks
Am
like.
I just not looking?
Or 2009 was when the first chapter came out.
2009. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a true 2010s Gen Z manga, so to speak. Yeah, it's really nice. Definitely, the art style changes overall. I think he has it's sort of he has a sort of distinctive angry look, and I think it becomes more rounded and simplified later on. It's more noticeable 100 chapters on.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even notice that until looking at you sharing the first chapter again, how he looks ever so slightly different now.
Yeah, but I love the dynamic between him and Furuichi. I think you have this. So Furuichi, I think, is the golden example of whiny side character.
For sure.
But he has done very successfully, to where he kind of, if you know, has hype moments that happen in the so-called God Run chapters 100 to 200. He has amazing moments that happen later on, but which is like such a rewarding thing. Like Zenitsu, like a lot of people hated Zenitsu from Demon Slayer because of that sort of aspect. I think Furuichi was sort of like that straight man, but because of the fact that everyone makes fun of Furuichi.
He's also equally sort of a shitty person too, though. And
oh
the
yeah,
manga
absolutely.
goes out of its way to make him get his just desserts, so it ends up being really funny when it happens to him.
Absolutely, and it's like, you know, it's not undeserved. It feels, you know, it's not like he's whining for no reason or anything like that. He is like a scumbag in his own way, but it's kind of funny and rewarding to see, you know, his wins and losses, so to speak. And I think he gets like a huge sort of character arc that happens in like the mid 100s, which, you know, I definitely recommend. It's one of the most hypest shit ever.
Get me eager, man. Getting me eager. That's like right where I'm at.
The facial expressions especially with Ogre trying to be like scary and demonic is like absolutely funny. I love.
Reminds me of Haruma from My Shield.
Oh yeah, I love Hiruma. He's my favorite all-time character.
Like just such a similar vibe with like they're like demonic, but really not that evil or bad. But they still do like tons of like such just chaotic, mean things sometimes.
They're just embracing the sort of like everyone expects them to be this evil person. They're just kind of embracing it, that sort of thing, but not like they're not actually inherently evil. And I love that sort of thing.
I see. So these characters are just like you, is what you're saying.
I don't see myself as that. I don't. Oh, wait, am I? Wait, do you guys think of me as evil?
He's a little evil.
Just a.
It's just a little.
Oh no!
Okay. You're everybody's favorite still, regardless of that.
I know I had that evil arc in Kitsu years ago, but we put it behind me.
This series is fucking funny. So it's so funny consistently.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think, and it's like it does tend to do like ecchi jokes here and there. Like I think, you know, but in the usual teenage boy comedy locker humor sort of boobs humor, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it ever crosses a line of being like overly degenerate with it, so it's usually fine.
I needed a story to justify my takeover. Well, try and take me if you can, little shit. Yeah, it's really nice. I love the love triangle that evolves from the two female characters and Ogre with Hilda and Kunieda. I don't think I've ever experienced. Usually, when it comes to like introducing love triangles and stuff like that, with most people, is that you instantly pick what team you're on from the get-go. But it's such a crazy endearing manga to the point where like I am pulled in and I'm like Team Kunieda for like the first 100 chapters. Then all of a sudden, a crazy plot twist happens, and I'm suddenly finding myself on Team Hilda in the chapter 100.
That's interesting to hear because I would say Hilda's one of the only characters right now that I don't care about very much to the point where I'm at. So
Yeah, it's quite interesting, and I like her design, and she is sort of this. What's the best way of putting it? She is. I mean, they're all scumbags in their own way, but like you know. But she seems very monotone compared to everyone else. I think is the best way of putting it.
yeah, she's very straight. Like she's very consistent with the way she behaves. I definitely like this reminds me somewhat of like the cast of like something like Yu Hakusho or Slam Dunk, where they're all a bunch of punks, but like they really like the cast really melds together, and you're like a root for people who are sort of punks to be successful.
Yeah. You say that, really, but a lot of stuff catches her. But she is subject to like the comedy as well, which I love about this manga. Is that no one, barring from a few later introduced characters, is immune to the comedy bullshit. In a way, it's only until like much later in the series where like major plot heavy characters are introduced, it becomes thing. And that like one particular character that's introduced at the very end of the anime is a very super serious situation. But other than that, everyone kind of falls in line to this comedic thing. But the comedy is done really, really well. It's so entertaining,
Yeah,
it's
the highlight of the manga for me.
I
Absolutely.
love the character growth as well, not just of the main character, because Ogre does become the sort of father figure for Baby Beale, and he kind of embraces that role later on, and it just makes the relationship more, even stronger. I love the little side gags where Ogre takes Beale to do like to the park or to the daycare, just do dad shit, and then you got like moms freaking out at the sight of him. It's so funny.
And then like the baby just like losing interactions to things like another baby or a cat or something like that.
Yeah, just
really
like
funny.
You see this low scale battle shonen with Baby Bill trying to take on his nemesis, like the local cat, or like trying to beat a beetle or something.
Super funny.
It is really funny.
Oh yeah, the whole like cicada thing where he was like grossed out and afraid of it was really funny too. That's true.
It's that sort of thing, and it is really funnily done. And I love the side characters. Like I forgot his name. I think it was Tanzawa or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, like all the delinquents, right, that are like really important. They get a lot more screen time and care put into them than you would think they would.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think it's honestly it felt like a manga that was going to be bigger than life and like going to explode into this huge thing full of hype moment, like never-ending hype moments where it was gonna explode in this supernova sort of feeling. It's crazy. But if honestly, before Solo Leveling, I never felt hype for the concurrent events as I did then in Beelzebub until I read Solo Leveling, but then Solo Leveling kind of like meandered off at some point as well. This manga, basically after like chapter 200 or 210, I think, basically it gets a rushed ending. And they basically start introducing these two new arcs, and it's just you can feel the rushness of it, and there's so many plot holes, so many unanswered questions, even to the point where the author himself, in the extra manga chapters afterwards, has like a full page rant about all the things he wanted to do and he couldn't do because they told him to stop, basically. Which, you know.
It's always so unfortunate. There's so many series that are like this that are successful for a few years, and then for whatever reason they aren't able to maintain the readership. So instead of like letting them finish and like having a chance for something really special, they can it, and then we don't get to see what that's going to be. And then there's other franchises out there that don't deserve that, and then they just go on for fucking ever.
I remember this when I posted it. It's funny, but it's just like the comedy is great. It's not, you know, it's not. Oh yeah, and I just remembered I wrote a review a long time ago of this manga.
Write? Oh my god!
I could. It's let's see if I can find a more detailed one. Otherwise, I'm just gonna. God, this is like young Madao back in the day, 8 years ago. I was the only person posting on this. Okay, so. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so this was on Eric's manga event thing 7 years ago. So this was back in like 2019 before COVID. In accordance to last month's theme of childcare, I spent the past couple of weeks going through the manga Beelzebub for practically the 10th time. I've reread this manga a lot. So, I mean, what better way of enjoying theme of childcare than reading the adventure of Ogre, the child-rearing badass, and cast with comedic shenanigans that still make me chuckle to this day, and their general badassery that makes me all giddy. Now, I won't lie to you, the ending does have its faults, but like most manga, it shouldn't be judged for just the ending, but as a whole. Essentially, the manga at the time received a fall in sales, and Jump Management told the author to close up shop. As a result, we had a rush ending. Nonetheless, it doesn't change the fact that it is one of my all-time favorite mangas, and that it is insanely funny, or that it's packed with badass moments. I give this a strong recommendation. I hope you enjoy it as much as I have. So yeah, that's my Mal review of this.
I mean, I'll say for me, for many years, I've been wanting to try this out, and you having it part of this month's lineup when you invited me was the thing I was most excited to read, was to try this, and I feel like it lived up to what I wanted it to be. So I'm very happy I got to experience it, because I just think it's a really unique series in, you know, the lineup of all the other famous, you know, Shonen Jump comedy action series that exist. I feel like it definitely is very different and stands by itself as something that there aren't many contemporaries that are very similar to it.
I thank you for that. I think it's a great manga, but it does have its flaws, and I do acknowledge them. I think particularly the biggest flaws are obviously the ending, which is the huge glaring one that people can't overlook. And I think for me, I feel like the plot meanders a bit before chapter 100 for a bit. I think it's
I would agree.
It becomes a bit circling the drain sort of thing until it finds itself again and shit kicks off. And then we have like the God Run, which saves itself really, which is like I find absolutely insane. So it's like a huge reward for like that meandering for a bit, which I find, you know.
Hey, you know, sometimes if the start and end aren't the strongest part, the journey makes it worth it regardless, right? Especially if somewhere in that journey is like one of the best experiences you've ever had doing something.
Oh, absolutely. And like in that God Run, we actually get like proper character development of the side characters. Nearly everyone gets their shining moment. I think Tojo is the only character who never properly got his shining moment. And that's because I feel like the author was going to use him later, but never got the chance. Which is a shame.
Criminal.
Like, Tojo has great moments, but in terms of actual character development and actual growth, he's been the most... what's the best way of putting it? Solid character, like unmoving. It's the best way of putting it. He's been like the bar that has never changed. He's always been that high bar, but has never gone up or down whatsoever. And it's just, it's a bit sad to see.
Because there's obviously a potential there, but you never got to see it, like, followed through.
Yeah, he has great moments, and he has some, and the comedy is absolutely thing. There's a scene where they're going on a trip to the beach and they're taking a plane, and he's like super excited, and he already has all the inflatables set up in the plane, and it's like, and the flight attendant is like, "Sir, you need to deflate this." Is like. Otherwise they'll pop in the air pressure, and he's like, well, call this air pressure over here. Like, I'm gonna fight him.
That's great. That's very in line with the character.
And I love that sort of dumb delinquent humor, which it just absolutely excels in. It's so fun. I like the whole even with Alendelon, the transport demon guy, who's this sort of like Freddie Mercury looking motherfucker who has
they just pop out of nowhere. It's so funny.
I like him as well because it's I feel like he's very it's sort of this guy who's kind of perving on. Usually you see these sorts of characters perving on young girls, but he's perving on Furuichi. It's...
yeah, and like him being an accessory to so many comedy scenes with him is just, it ends up being pure gold a lot of the time.
Yeah, and even he gets some hype moments later on as well, which is he's giving Kyoraku from Bleach. I feel like that's over giving him a bit too much credit there. That's a bit too much credit. Kyoraku is too hype. The Freddie Mercury guy unfortunately doesn't do anything major, but he has great moments. He has some very funny moments. I feel like he's Kyoraku comedy level, power level equivalent, basically.
Yeah, like they use them sparingly, but when they do use them, they use them in like a correct way that always like amplifies whatever's supposed to make the joke funnier.
Yeah. Like, he got great character development in the chapter 100s. He was foreshadowed something that never got, which is unfortunate. And there's other characters as well. It just goes on like that, unfortunately. There's like a lot of introduction of like the baby delinquent one. Yeah, the Beelzebub, the
this is that, yes.
Yeah. And it's pretty much the main plot. How it goes is just, this starts off as Oda trying to pawn this baby off to someone strong enough for baby Bill to like, so he can be the new baby daddy, and that's it. But it's funny because it's so absurd, and I love that sense of absurdity. But it feels natural, like feels with the character. It doesn't feel scummy because it's a demon baby, and it'll electrocute the shit out of you anyway, so you don't feel bad or anything like that.
And every character in the story who's important is just as scummy, so like it's not like anybody's presented as a better person.
Yeah, the maid is cool. I like Hilda. I pretty much most of the characters I like in this manga. The only characters I don't like are the ones who because they just didn't get the development they needed.
That's the important question then. This is one of your favorite manga. Who is your favorite character?
It's probably gotta be Oga, honestly. Oga is pretty much like in terms of character development and stuff, it's such a subtle growth. And it's not even like, before you know it, it's like seeing this guy, it's like, the best way of putting it, it's like seeing a dad not like the house pet. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you realize him and that cat is like running off in the sunset or some shit, doing crazy shit together.
You definitely see videos of that where someone's like, I don't want this cat or dog, and then you'll see the cat or dog sleeping on their chest in like 2 years, like.
Yeah, it's sort of that family vibe, but it's done to like a badass degree, because he even earns the title. Like they literally call him in other schools the child rearing badass. but it has its
Yeah.
own comedy behind it and stuff like that, and they get all these sort of dynamics and nicknames and so on. It's Kanzaki, I think his name was. I don't know. Kanzaki, yeah, that was his name, not Tanzawa or whatever I was saying. Kanzaki-kun.
Okay, we've established you don't know anybody's name.
Yeah, I'm terrible. I'm awful with names. But it's great. It's absolutely great. There's a lot of payoff. It's not emotionally deep or anything like that. There are some emotional moments here and there, but it's not that deep. But it's hype. It's absolutely entertaining. It's hype.
I think it goes down to the same factor for what you were complimenting Aruma for. I think one of the things you and most people tend to like in a manga is, am I having a fun time?
Yeah. I think that should be the front line and center of it, because some people just kind of lose themselves in the prettiness of it. I mean, just look at let's look at Demon Slayer. When the manga was running, let's talk about Kitsu Traffic real quick.
Oh,
No one
God.
gave a shit about Demon Slayer. I used to post religiously about Demon Slayer because I thought it was this underrated manga. No one wanted to talk about it. I post pictures. I said it's got a lot of potential. It's good. You guys should give it a try. And I'll get like at most 2 or 3 likes a post, maybe 1 or something, that sort of thing. Then the fucking anime comes out and they beautify the shit out of it. The animation is great, I won't lie, and all that shit. But it was like, it had potential. It doesn't mean it was great. Like, and now you guys are saying it's the greatest thing ever, and it really blows my fucking mind. Like, I know I was
I feel
hyping
like
up the manga, but it was like, it wasn't that great.
people will do that sometimes, but I mean, I appreciate that from some people like yourself. I don't remember if it was you or Eric or somebody who had been posting about Golden Kamui, and I've been wanting to try it out for years. And then when I finally watched it, I was like, oh my God, this is fucking incredible! I love this. Why does nobody talk about this as much?
It's hard to tell because me and Eric we each posted a lot of Golden Kamui screenshots. It was funny, like out of context stuff was funny as hell.
They're definitely Beelzebub is definitely in that category of where it deserves more love than it gets, and hopefully over time it'll eventually get that platform.
SMH can't make you happy, Madao. No one can make me happy. I'm sad forever. That's why I'm Madao.
That's right. I don't give stuff above a 6, and he's miserable, and that's our dynamic.
Yeah. Love and marriage, love and marriage. I'm just like, what's his name? Phil Bundy.
Honestly, I see it. Yeah, and your wife is gonna look like Sofia Vergara someday.
Yeah. That's my character arc right there. I get Sofia Vergara.
He earned it, everybody. He earned it.
He fucking earned it. Yeah, so that's basically it. There's a lot of foreshadowing, I think. There's sort of like this Demon King who we never see his face, but he has like this like cool foreshadowing to also stupid comedy scenes and stuff like, oh, I thought about doing this stupid shit, or the demon, or someone's seriously telling a story about the Demon King. Oh yeah, he took a trip down to this river and he got bitten by a fish or something stupid or something like that, which I love.
Isn't that son supposed to be doing this? Yeah, I guess that's true, but whatever. They'll figure it out when I send him. It'll work out.
Yeah. And I like that. I love that dynamic. It's such a fun manga, and honestly, it's just read it already. Fucking hell.
I'd say I'm not even to the God Run apparently, and I would give it an 8 right now. So that's super exciting for me.
You're not worthy until you got through the God Run.
I'm gonna make that a priority for this next month then.
Okay, so. Okay, so we got 29 recommended, 2 mixed feelings, and 0 not recommended, so it's quite polarizing. The score we're looking at is 8.12, ranked 500, popularity 126. So, despite the score, which is a bit on the low end for like a very high achieving manga, the popularity is insane. It's like the Gintama effect, where it kind of has built a cult following. People who have read the full thing has kind of like become cultish, which I can attest to because I'm probably one of them.
He's a cultist. They're good people, though. I promise you, they're good people. They don't steal bicycles. They don't do anything, creepy or weird.
No, we just beg you to read our manga. basically.
Read, please.
Okay, so moving down. So 120,000 people rated this, so yeah. All right, let's go. So we got 2 recommended, and then we'll read one of the recommended, and then we'll move down to the mixed feelings. So the mixed feelings is a 5, and the recommended is a 7 out of 10.
7, yeah. See, there you go again.
Which is I find interesting because I definitely would give it an 8 out of 10 personally, but it's I feel like the people who read this manga are fully accepting of the flaws of this manga, but it's just so funny and hype at the same time that you can easily overlook it. But it's like, my god, this one's a long one. Wow,
I saw that with all the edits and everything too.
Shit. Ruru, this is gonna give those AniList reviews a run for their money. That's for sure. Anyways, read it all. Fine. We'll read this one. Okay, we'll read this one. Since we're only reading one recommended and one not, we'll read the long one. All right, gonna stretch for this one. There we go.
Stretch your tongue. Stretch your tongue.
Alright. I have read my fair share of fantasy fiction, and anything involving the demons tends to be on the darker side of horror, and it is not usually fit for mainstream consumption. The ones that are mainstream, unfortunately, tend to be mere shadow of the original. I feel like this guy has read Black Bible and just kind of peaked there.
Well, I mean, this was from 2012, so this was before all the dark, popular manga started coming out in the past 15 years.
Yeah, this person wrote it back in I have to point out this person wrote it back in 2012, which is like,
this is before Attack on Titan. This is before Chainsaw Man. This is before Jujutsu Kaisen. Hell's Paradise.
This is Ven and Ver, right there on the front lines. Okay, so yeah, Beelzebub is nothing like that. I wasn't quite sure if Beelzebub will live up to its hype, despite the acclaim it has received. But within a few pages, it had me in splits. To start with, Oga Tatsumi is a terror to be reckoned with. He picks up a strange-haired baby who he's informed happens to be the son of a demon lord. Enter Hilda, the violent wet nurse, the Toshinki, and the 4 big powers of Ishiyama High, and Furuichi, the only normal guy. Hilarious shenanigans ensue. Aside from life raising a young demon lord thing, the other central point within Beelzebub happens to be the power struggles on various levels, but without the politics and with 100% more humor. Baby Bill and Olga seem to get inadvertently caught up in them and deal with the only way Olga really knows how, with sheer brute force. They're not kidding when they call him the strongest delinquent. Probably the biggest plus point of Beelzebub is how it constantly delivers. I have read through 160 chapters, and so far there hasn't been a single one of them I've disliked. It really punches any conventional proceedings in the face. A screw super stretched out fights with evil villains waxing eloquent on their greatness. Ogre just nonchalantly takes them out with one of his attacks before they can do a thing. I kind of want to point out that later on, the fights do become sort of stalematey and the stakes get even higher. But anyways, the humor is probably the biggest. The humor is not sophisticated. Given that it's a shonen, Beelzebub has a juvenile edge to it, but perhaps that's what really increases its appeal. There's no talk of adhering to the principles of Shonen Jump. There's just a lot of bizarre situations which are brilliantly interspersed. Never heard that word. That's a new word. That with even better character interaction. So I definitely agree. And it's something I mentioned before. It's very like teenagers in the locker room sort of humor. So I definitely agree, and it could be a hit or miss with a more sophisticated audience reader, But I think not me. I'm sophistication. Never heard of it. Can you eat it? All right. Speaking of characters, practically everyone within the main cast is either A, a demon, a delinquent, or C, Furuichi. So you have a chock full of. See, I love the establishment of the best sort of like straight man sort of routine. Furuichi like excels in that as the whiny character, and he just does an excellent job.
I feel like this person is doing a fantastic job of like explaining the idea.
Oh yeah, this person has time to write this shit out, and he's doing a wonderful job. So you have a chock full of comic opportunities that are rarely wasted, and each of the characters are interesting and do not grate the nerves in any way. Furuichi provides delightful tsukomi, being the only sane individual throughout the manga and is usually the butt of several pervert pedophile related jokes. The Tohoshinki are amazing. Each of them is distinct and rememberable. The Great Demon Lord is a hilarious, flaky individual whose sole purpose in life is to make you choke on your or laughter every time he comes up with a new frivolous scheme. Ogre is a brilliant protagonist with both strength and denseness that is always amusing, and Baby Bill is just plain adorable. Another thing I approve of is the way the female leads. Hilda and Aoi are portrayed. I always go by Kunieda in my head. Portrayed. There is a distinct lack of airheaded, helpless bimbos, which only adds to the Beelzebub experience, and the two ladies are more than capable of holding their own in an all-out brawl. I personally enjoy the inclusion of an all-girls gang, though I wish they had more panel time. The fan service is not as blatant as it could have been. So there could have been more fan service, I think is the criticism here, is what I'm getting. More. Beelzebub's biggest hindrance remains its art. If one were to compare it to other shonens with Jump, its drawing style is heavily lacking. For one thing, the backgrounds in most panels are neglected, and intricate detail is not present. Most of the men in the series is adhered to a rather boxy build, and it feels off sometimes. I have a personal gripe for the way Hilda's shoes are drawn. The heels are on her stiletto lace boots and are just plain ugly. Fair enough. You know,
it seems like something like Rue would complain about. That's super funny.
I get drawn in by the comedy and action, but I've completely overlooked the art style issue, and he's right. Whoever's written this is completely right, and like the art style level would be at best like a 7 out of 10 on a good day, if I'm being honest.
It's fine.
It's possible, but it's not great either. But it excels at everything else though. At the same time, Beelzebub is suited to this sort of art, and it's not as bad as to be unreadable. Yeah, the characters are well drawn with crisp, sharp strokes. The male characters' designs are varied, though I do find that most of the female characters have almost the same base. But the latter can be forgiven since there aren't many prominent female characters anyways. That said, I commend the mangaka on his expressions. He captures the incredulous expression so well, it certainly adds to the humor. I particularly love any of the demon faces that Ogre takes on from time to time. Yeah, I 100% agree on that. We were just looking at that too. Overall, Beelzebub takes a solid 9 out of 10 since the art doesn't depreciate the series' enjoyment in any manner and manages to compound it instead like any good manga. So it used to be a 9 out of 10, but I'm guessing the manga finished and he changed his review.
That's fair.
So Beelzebub doesn't make any lofty promises. It'll take down the Great Demon King and save the world? No, sir. And continues on in its own charming and somewhat dysfunctional way. It captures you with the puerile. My God, the grammar of this man. Puerile humor.
Yeah, that one's new to me too. I've never seen Puerile before.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to look that up. Delinquent characters. This guy went to Oxford clearly, and the ever-loved high school setting with just a dash of demons who are equally hilarious in their own right. I wish I could be as eloquent as this reviewer right now. And happens to be the perfect mood lifter right in the middle of any normal tedious week. Definitely recommended to anyone looking for a light shonen manga series. Absolutely. Okay, so now we get to the edit part, which basically this is what dragged it down from a 9 out of 10 to an 8. Edit. Having finally finished the manga, I decided to bump down my score to a respectable 8. Even though most of my other thoughts will still hold true in the intervening years I have been away from it, on rereading Beelzebub as a whole, it's still hilarious, and I must commend Tamura Ryohei's comic timing and exaggerated art for it. I did appreciate how Fuichi was ultimately handled, though. Oh, he did remain my absolute favorite to the very end. I also liked the romantic resolution rather than the lack of thereof, because it remained true to its characters. The epilogue chapters don't add much to the story after. This is why I was talking about those extra epilogue chapters. Literally, there was a whole page of just the author just ranting at one point. It's absolutely crazy. It's just more of the same. Not that that was a problem with me. I was particularly happy with the chapter focus on IA, but apart from that, the rest were okay-ish. Unfortunately, one of the many pitfalls the series encounters is at par for a cancelled series. The ending is rushed. Much of the humor is sacrificed to get there. The ending itself is not really an ending at all, and some characters remain under development. I'm looking at you, Natsumi. Unfortunately, I can actually forgive a lot of that because Beelzebub never promises a deep story and it gives you exactly what's on the tin. It has its problems, but they never outweigh the good for me, so my enjoyment of the series remains a solid 10. In closing, I feel that Beelzebub should be taken at face value if you want to enjoy it at its fullest. I'm additionally glad that it was cancelled when it was, because it didn't overstay its welcome. Cowardice! Coward! Or maybe it did, but I digress. All in all, I look forward to what Tamura Ryohei comes up with next. I'm just saying, it did deserve to be rushed. Just like, it should have got the Demon School Aroma treatment.
Yeah, give it a proper finale.
It doesn't. There's no proper finale that can do it justice. It needs like another 200 chapters.
It needs to never end.
It just needs like 200 more or something. It just needs more time. It needs more time, Jacob. All right. So this one's mixed reviews. This one gave it a 5. So let's see. This one was written.
It's a lot more succinct.
Yeah, it's a lot more succinct, and it's written more modern, adding to the generation perspective of this generation. My issue with the series is that I could never truly decide if it wanted to be comedy or a battle manga. Why couldn't it be both? Multiple times it felt like the author was about to ditch the main focus of comedy and settle for a battle shonen, as the world building for that kind of setup was quite good. However, the author always ended up taking it back to the ridiculous comedy outcomes, which is fine when done properly, which it did. I feel as if the series could never really create a good balance between those two, and instead just awkwardly went left and right on the spectrum, as opposed to creating a good balance. Lies, I tell you. An example of a series that does it well is Mob Psycho 100. That's an unfair. Bro, you just watched Mob Psycho 100 one time and you think you're a pro. If you haven't read that, I highly recommend it.
It's a very functionally different type of series, too.
Yeah, it is completely different. Okay, now I'm just going to look at Hunter x Hunter is 8 out of 10, One Piece is 10. How much has he read?
52.
Wait, has he actually read 50? No, he read more than that, right? Oh, wait, that's his to read list. Here we go. Yeah. 62. And he dropped a few. What did he drop actually? What does he consider bad? Okay, that's pretty based. I'm not gonna lie. That's like a coming a kill. Lone Wolf and Cub. I read the whole thing, to be fair. It's very outdated, I think.
Yeah, it's from the 70s, though, right? So, I mean...
Yeah, Majin Tante Neuro. This one we covered in Manga Reading Club. It's fucking long. It's not the author's best work. This is the same guy who made Assassination Classroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yu Yu Hakusho got a 5. Jesus.
That hurts. That hurts me personally.
He gave Toriko an 8. He's based.
So he gave Yu Yu Hakusho and Beelzebub a 5. And get this guy.
Nah,
out of my
nah.
face.
He gave Toriko 8. He's based. He gets a pass. Toriko got an 8.
He's forgiven for Toriko.
He's forgiven for his. Okay, no, he's back down. He gave Soul Eater a good score. He goes back down. Reborn got a 4. I feel like he was very salty of the ending, to be fair. Pluto got an 8, should be a 9. Naruto got a 7, yeah. Fair enough. He still gave Mob Psycho 106. That's crazy.
It's so much better. Give it a 1 point higher.
That's great. After all of this, you know, his whole motivation for giving it a mixed score was Mob Psycho, and he gave that a 6.
His baseline is rough. Getting above a 5 apparently is tough for this man.
Oh my god.
Oh well. Nobody's reacted to it as well.
The sins of our youth. This is like 6 years ago now. Almost 6 years ago.
You should tell him. You should click that you love it. Let him know that you love his review because it's.
I'm not signed in. I'm not signed in. I'm not gonna type in my login details today. If I can still remember them even. Alright, so that's Beelzebub. I think I gave it an 8 out of 10 because it deserves an 8 out of 10. I don't think it'll ever hit the 9 threshold.
That's good. I like it. I liked it a lot. It was very funny.
Yeah. Oh my god, sorry, I'm still chuckling off of that. Alright, so last one is Nausicaa, Valley of the Valley of the Wind. I watched this movie a long time ago, and I've forgotten what happened, so I rewatched the movie to get a sense, and then I picked up the manga, because I felt like that's the sort of natural progression with how people picked up this manga. They watched the movie, then they read it. So, and I quite enjoyed it because of the fact. I think the movie, if I'm just reviewing purely the movie, it's very straightforward, you know. Girl is a saint. She wants everyone to live, everyone to prosper, and she wants to save the day. And it's nice and endearing. There's references to a power, and in the movie, a lot of people would pass it off as this quote unquote power as a sort of like, oh, it's just because she has a deeper connection or a deeper insight of her surroundings and nature. It's not attributed to an actual power per se. However, in the manga, it is a power, and there is a lot more to it, which I find very interesting. There's also, you know, the politics. It's huge. It's like I'm trying to think of like the perfect analogy. It's like finding a book, and then you open the book and you're blasted with rainbows in the face of pure information and content.
Oh, it's like have you ever seen There Will Be Blood?
Yes, I saw it. Yeah, I remember seeing it. It was a long time ago.
So its book is like, it has the same characters, but it's like largely really actually focused on just like the Bolshevik Revolution and the stuff happening around that time period and how the oil impacts that stuff. So it's like way more political, and like the focus is so different than the movie. So like that's how my brain thinks about these.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so like the movie, so I haven't fully finished this manga. I'm like 60% of the way through, but already I can see that like the manga is like higher than the movie easily. I think it fixes a couple of issues that the movie had, especially in terms of its antagonist at the time, Kushana, who was introduced as this sort of villainous, war-torn character that's trying to, you know, do this ends justify the means sort of actions. But in the manga, she is a more complex character, and we see a lot of the politics and the backstories and stuff like that, which is driving her. She also doesn't have her amputation She's not introduced with her amputation like in the movie as well, which I find interesting. I found quite interesting as well. I think
it's odd considering how since Miyazaki wrote both that he decided to like structure things differently between like the introductions for different like story beats and characters and stuff like that.
I think there is. I think the hugest improvement as well is one of the characters, Kurotawa. This guy who's considered as this political snob in the anime, who seems quite selfish, and he seems very just like what's the best way of putting it? Like sort of like story fodder, so to speak.
Mm.
He is actually like a very deep and insightful character in comparison. And I actually grew to like him a lot more. He seems like a guy who's trying to climb the ranks, and he's overcoming these hurdles, and he's like, and his I wouldn't say I wouldn't say he has a big dynamic with Kushana, but but you can see their relationship grow over time, and it's very endearing to see. So you can see in the first half of the first chapter of the first volume that it's pretty much almost 1-for-1 to the movie. It's not until we get to, I think, page 22 or something. Oh, here we go. So page 24, where we start to see the minute differences. So in the original movie, it's kind of like her dad. She introduces and she says her dad is sick and that she has to take on the role of flying, and then that's it. In the manga, it's further told. So there's further details in the manga saying that, for example, that there's a war going on and that there's a Vi Emperor and they're calling on the tribes, and that instead of her father going, she is going to war. So it's already, established that she is like a more like less of this young aspiring girl that we see in the movie, and she is more of this, I would say maybe like reluctant warrior.
She's kind of like a byproduct of the circumstances, right? Like she doesn't really have a choice the role she wants to play.
Yeah, I would definitely double down on the reluctant warrior sort of direction. And then it's just like that, and then we see like fake stuff from the movie and so on. We do get further like more scenes. They do skip out a couple of stuff I've noticed. So first off, in the movie, they killed Nausicaa's dad, but they didn't do it in the manga. Instead of just like straight out attacking, they kind of like created an altercation with no fatalities this time, which makes more sense in the political standpoint that they're trying to establish. So the manga is fixing holes that the movie created, and expanding them, which I find very interesting. And so on, it goes from there, and then we reach a certain part of where the movie, I think it's like halfway through the movie, where the story just deviates completely.
Yeah, the point when she goes like underneath, like
the Sea of Corruption.
The Sea of Corruption is like when they leave there, the story starts going in completely different places for almost the entirety of it. There's a few scenes here and there that are like ripped from the film, but like most of it is just completely different story.
Yeah. So if I jump to the first part here of the first chapter, we do get a map of the world. So here's a more detailed one. I'm going to just zoom out a bit so you viewers can see a bit better. So we are introduced not just to, so the big changes is the introduction of not just the kingdom of Toromechia that we were first introduced to, but also to the Dorok Empire as well, which is this new faction being introduced, which has a huge influence on the story. So I don't want to spoil because I feel like it's a nice revelation to come across, but they have a very strong. They are very closely tied to the plot and to the actual mystery of the world. So it's quite interesting.
There's a lot more going on with not only them but like Tormechia and the other smaller like civilizations that are like surviving by the Sea of Corruption, and how like there's just more to the mystery of
there's
why
a lot more cultures.
It is corrupted.
There's also there's also a difference in languages as well that's established. It's quite interesting. One thing I quite like as well is, again, it's just doubling down on the politics, is the actual expansion of the Toromechia kingdom and the Vite, and the introduction of not just the Vite Emperor, but also the Free Princes, who are introduced very at the beginning as they're making their expanse, leading the expanse going northwards there. Meanwhile, Kushana is trying to basically flank through the Sea of Corruption, essentially.
Yeah, and what's interesting about those characters from where you're at, they've only really been mentioned, but they actually are all featured in different parts of the manga in the second half too. Like,
I've met one of the, I've seen one of them. I mean, we've at a point where we meet one of them, and it is a very interesting dynamic because it just doesn't just expand the world, but it also amplifies Kushana's character as a whole. She's not just this villainess. Who's just the ends justify the means. She is this byproduct of this corrupt politics, and that she's trying to overcome and stand by her soldiers and so on. And you see her, and you really start to see her shine. She's sort of as at odds with Nausicaa at the beginning. She's introduced at odds, but they're ultimately allies because they realize that she starts to realize maybe I'm going about this wrong, and I find, and that is huge. That's a huge evolution from what we were given in the movie.
Yeah, I would definitely say she has like the single largest character arc of anybody in the manga.
Absolutely. So it's like I think we get to like part 2, and we get to the shipwreck and stuff like that, and so the ship crashing into the village. Sorry, and instead of them straight up attacking the village and killing the father, they don't do that, and they kind of just do something, and they upset Nausicaa in a certain way. I'm just trying to find.
There's a lot of political strife and discussion, and like it's very tense with a lot of stuff happening.
They don't even introduce the prophecy till like late into the second volume.
That sounds right, yeah.
As well. So they don't. So not even the Valley of the Wind are aware. The people in the Valley of the Wind are aware of the prophecy that was sort of clearly established and reverent of in the movie. So I find that, and I'm very curious to see how that's going to play out. From what I can tell from comments on the internet, the ending isn't the best.
It's sort of abrupt, I would say. I feel like there's like a lot of stuff that happens leading into the ending, and then like that sort of resolves, and then the manga just ends right afterwards. Like you don't really get a resolution to see what happens to everything else after the final like major conflict moment of the manga, which is just, I felt it was an odd choice for something that has so much time spent with so much dialogue and paneling to like establish these unique cultures and the history and like technology and all these other things.
Absolutely. You get even like we get to volume 2, and the very first chapter, if I just zoom in a bit for you guys to see a bit clearly, and you see this like crazy trench war, like all these soldiers and so on like that. It's a huge evolution from on what we are introduced into the movie. We kind of just assume these things are happening in the background. We never see it, but we actually do see this, and we see all these new characters, the sort of relationship between in the soldiers versus the corrupt leaders and so on like that. It's very interesting. We see the politics of the Doraks, the religious zealotism, what they consider against what they consider heresy and so on like that. It's very interesting. And they're
there's there's a lot of meat. There's a lot of meat to the middle of this manga.
There's a huge. I mean, you can see all this. Like, look at that. That's huge amount of info dumping. Right? It's not even info dumping. It's
all relevant.
It's all relevant.
It's just conversation. It's just conversation happening, and he doesn't cut anything out. He like puts every little bit of it. It's weird. Nausicaa will either do this or it has like 4 to 5 pages of just gorgeous art displaying something when there's like an action sequence happening.
Yeah, it's like true Ghibli fashion where there's either a lot of dialogue or it's moments of quiet.
Right, yeah.
I do like this interesting character who's considered as the Holy One in the Dorak Empire. I'm very interested to see where it goes from there because he seems it very much feels like they took things from not just from the Nausicaa movie, but also from this manga, and then kind of just mixed it together as a new product to make Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, there's a lot of thematic overlap between these two movies, or two stories, I guess.
Two stories, yeah. It's not just that, but especially this Holy One, where his villain, where he kind of like projects himself as this sort of like sludge monster sort of thing made out of symbols, and I couldn't help but think of like that demon in Mononoke,
Yeah, at the end, it like destroys the forest and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. It just made me think of that. And
yeah, there's a lot of that, right? With the like showcasing the destructive nature of like humanity versus nature and like war and like treating like nature and animals and like if you don't, like what happens and everything.
Not just that too. I mean, we also get introduced to this character who apparently plays an important role in the story, and
he's very important.
He's very important. Obviously, he's only in the manga. I just immediately thought of that one monk mercenary guy from Princess Mononoke again.
Right. Yeah. There are these characters who play these weird roles where they're not. Not only does he kind of look like that character, but they
he plays a sort of opposing faction. Sort of,
yeah, and they're not necessarily like on a good or a bad side, and they at times their role shifts depending on what's going on, but then they evolve. Like they're in a very gray area on how they function morality wise.
Exactly, yeah. Like for that, we see this character, and he's all team Nausicaa, but he's working for the opposite side. And right. It's the same with the monk in Princess Mononoke, where he's all team protagonist. But his assignment goes against the team, goes against the protagonist again. It's that sort of dynamic. I find
super interesting.
The art I really like. There are some moments where I think they could use a little more detail.
Yeah, I think for me, my biggest complaint. I don't know if this is just from manga from that time period. I feel like his paneling sometimes is confusing to follow what's happening.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't fit, do it, and I think it's unconventional. I don't know if Miyazaki solely worked on this or not, because I know it's something people say he did it. But
I'd believe it, knowing him.
It feels like because he is a wonderful artist, but you can also see the sort of imperfections that we would point out about other mangakas in terms of paneling and like line work and stuff like that. Also, I'm not sure if it is for every version, but unlike usual manga, it's from left to right rather than right to
It
left.
confused the shit out of me. I didn't realize that until I was like 30 pages in. I was like, why?
Yeah, same. That threw me off for a bit. Hey, Swale. Yeah, Beelzebub, great. Honestly, he watch the replay later. You're gonna love it. I think it was. I feel pretty passionate about it. I think overall, I'm still doubling down at Beelzebub. Beelzebub is one of my favorite mangas of all time, but it's got its flaws. I acknowledge its flaws, and it's still like an 8 out of 10, like solid.
No, yeah, it's good. Yeah, I was a first time reader, and I thought it was really great too. And everything that he loves about it, I felt very similar to.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, so Kurotawa again, his story expansion is just huge. Everyone's just Kushina is this thing. In Nausicaa, Nausicaa becomes less of a less pure saint, and she has this she's combating this inner turmoil, this inner darkness, but she's trying, she wants to do right, and she's combating not just us, this thing, but she's combating the very conventions of her current society as well.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how this version, it doesn't really compromise what he established originally about her, but it puts her in situations to where she has to have a complex reaction to it, and so she has to contemplate and think and like actually like internalize how that makes her feel without like breaking down with how someone with her sort of like personality usually would not be able to handle stuff, as she's fighting so hard to just make a better future for everybody.
Absolutely. I'm looking at the cover art of this part 2 of volume 2. This looks like with the color shading, looks something straight out of fucking Elden Ring, which I love.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it just lends to that, because in my mind it lends to that dark potential of this manga, and there is blood and there is thing that happens in this manga that doesn't happen in the movie. It's crazy.
Realize it was gonna be this. Like the manga version of this is so. I mean, there's you find there's a room of petrified dead people and babies and stuff like that. And you're like, what the hell?
Not just that as well. There was in that flight scene as well where there's people falling out of the sky and you see children holding on to each other as they're falling to their deaths. And not just that. And then you got the plane flying through the bodies, and just you can see the blood spraying. It's crazy, even for a Ghibli art style. It's melted. Crazy.
Yeah, as a guy who I grew up with Totoro as my first thing, so it's crazy to see that this was before, and that Miyazaki was so hardcore to tell his story this way.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, look at this, for example. This page, this is a combat scene, and she's basically firing a shot over soldiers to scare the animals. But it's done so well. I think shading is a bit. It's too artistic, to the point where sometimes it would be nice to get more clearer detail. And most nowadays, how this would be displayed nowadays is that this panel would be smaller, this panel would be smaller, this would be about the same size, and this would be a 2-page spread, and you would have this much bigger and more detailed, so you can see more scale of it. Basically, I think this is a product of its time, and definitely, sure. If it was done today, it would go about a bit differently. I think the story is wonderful. I think the story is great so far. I think it, and I don't know if it's because Miyazaki is doing a manga, or he's getting help or something. It does feel a bit amateurish sometimes in terms of paneling, which I get.
It was still really early in his career at this point. He'd only been working on other anime productions for a few years at this point.
Like the Count of Cagliostro with Lupin the Third movie, for example, and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, and some of those early World Masterpiece Theater things.
But it's really nice. But despite all that, I really feel like the sense of heart, and it's got that Ghibli-ness to it. And I don't know why, but when I look at people running, like running on foot and stuff like that, I just think of immediately in my head is like the Ghibli run, the sort of like you know what I mean? This is like it's iconic, but
I also brought this up to my sister when I rewatched this last time, and I see it again with the manga. You cannot tell me that the rideable mounts in this are not what inspired Chocobos. I just don't believe it. They have to be what inspired Chocobos.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, especially reading the manga, it just exemplifies it even more. Like this, it's crazy. Not just that.
There's such an impact with some of the stuff that was created from that time period.
I feel like this also just heavily inspires a bit of Zelda as well.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely, you know. In terms of like the different cultures and stuff like that, and also these rideable goats that they use, the Doraks here as well.
And again, they look a lot like Yakul, don't they? They look really similar to them. Like the deer from Mononoke.
Yeah, exactly. It just keeps going up from there, and I do like to think that Princess Mononoke is a product of this manga, and the anime movie, and it's just like, okay, if I would do it again, I would do it differently by doing this, and like learn from my mistakes of Nausicaa of the Valley in terms of storytelling. And then, as a result, they made Princess Mononoke, which I think is a very well-rounded movie that covers its basis and the full scope of the story. Well, while Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, the movie was a bit over-ambitious with what it was trying to build and trying to tell. And the manga showcasing what it wanted to do, but couldn't put into a movie form. That's one thing.
Yeah, it may have worked better as a TV series, considering the length of what the manga has.
Absolutely, and that was one of my. That's one thing I also wanted to point out. I want Ghibli to make a TV show of this manga. I want it to be like that would be the most hypest thing ever. And the fact that they haven't done it, I am surprised that they're okay with doing the Earwitch movie, which also has a glaring. Like, wait, that's it? that's the end? To other projects that everyone, you know, like Boy and the Heron, which leaves my brain in the circle, is absolutely crazy. They have made only one TV show ever. I don't know if it did well or not. What was the TV show?
Oh, you're talking about Ranja, right? Yeah, that didn't...
Ranja?
Like, yeah, and like that didn't do super well. It did okay. Yeah, it's called like Ronja, like Ronja, and is it the Grave Robbers? No, what the hell is this?
The Robber's Daughter.
Robber's Daughter, yeah, and it's like a full CGI anime, but like not like CGI like Studio Orange, but like CGI like.
Again, is Goro. It's goddamn Goro Miyazaki.
Yeah. So I don't. Nobody really watched it.
God damn it, Goro! Can't you do anything right? But yeah,
that's just it. He wasn't meant to be a director, I don't think.
Yeah, literally, by the time we get to the second volume, we've already veered straight off the path that the movie was intending, which is absolutely insane. They have made only one TV show, Ranja. Yeah, say what you want. I thought the CGI was pretty nice and the series was good. Honestly, I didn't know Ranja. I do remember seeing that anime. I just didn't know it was Ghibli. I thought it was that same studio who did Ni no no Kuni.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I first thought Ni no no Kuni was Ghibli at first as well.
Well, the original video game, the first one, actually Studio Ghibli did collaborate with them and did the cutscenes for it. So there was collaboration.
But then there was a studio that came along, and then they did the Imaginary and Mary and the Witch's Flower, which isn't they're not Ghibli.
No, but the people who went on to make Studio Ponach, for the guy who made that, he was the one who made Marnie when Marnie was there. So he was a Ghibli alumni.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
They made their own company.
So it's like a sort of Gynex Trigger situation, I guess, but in reverse.
Yeah, it's basically everyone who's not Miyazaki who's still like worked on Ghibli making their own stuff. His name's Yone Bayashi, I believe, and he's He's the one who made both Arrietty and Marnie, and so he went on to make Mary and the Witch's Flower, and he's like the head of that company now.
I liked Marnie and Arrietty. It was quite nice. I watched it.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of potential. I hope he makes some more stuff in the future.
Yeah, I hope so too. I quite liked it. I'm not sure if it was him or not, but I did like Mary and the Witch's Flower. I haven't seen the Imaginary yet, but
Yes, that was him. He was the creator behind that one.
anyways, so that's what we have to say about this manga. I think we've pretty much talked about everything. We could just talk about the differences and stuff like that. It's really well done. The paneling is a bit.
Yeah, and it has dated features from the era, but it's still really exceptional in a lot of ways.
The quality of art is phenomenal, and I think that Ghibli art style really, really brings it home as well. The trademark Miyazaki art style really brings it home as well, which I think is absolutely amazing. During one of Miyazaki's retirement, he also closed the studio, and some staff took it as a permanent thing and went off to make their own studio.
Yeah, and then he just I'm just gonna work on my own movie in the next few years because he just can't retire for some reason. He just is.
It's a very complicated situation. I'm not sure what the work dynamic is there like, but I'm not getting the vibe that it was like everyone was happy with each other. That's for sure. But that's usually how
I don't know
it
how much
goes.
of a control freak Miyazaki was because with him, Suzuki, and
Goro.
Oh God, I can't remember not Goro, the other one who created the company.
I thought you meant like just the ones who gets to make movies.
Like the three of them. Well, because Suzuki was always the producer. And
yeah, he was
had
just
your
the
two
producer.
major directors.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I just feel like over time they gathered some talented people, and then they just didn't give them enough room to make their own movies, so they went off to go do their own thing.
I would quite like this. This looks like something that you would see like on the church. Like this looks straight Moses.
There's so many crazy designs for things in the manga for Nausicaa too. Like it's a weird supernatural manga. I wasn't expecting it to have as many twists and turns as it did.
The way the art is constructed, especially with these scenic shots like these, where it's almost like as if I'm looking at religious imagery, but also I'm looking at like old World War One trench like art as well. It's crazy.
Yeah, it feels like watching a fantasy version of something happening in the Middle East.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of funny, but it's true. So it's like the Dorak's supposed to be like the bad Arabs or something in this, or
I guess they could be. Yeah, I mean, there's
because
lot
they
of
got
overlap
the headscarves or whatever they got going on. So I'm just wondering, like the face mask or whatever.
There's definitely some like mid-European to mid-Euro Asia I feel like
aesthetic
influence in the designs and cultures that he put into this.
Yeah, because Dorak definitely seems like somewhat Middle Eastern aesthetically sometimes. But I don't know. It's funny. It's sort of twisting. It's a twisted amalgam of different cultures taken. So I can't really say it's purely Middle Eastern, but it's very interesting. Because
no, I would agree to that.
Because I do get some you get some Central Asian elements, a lot of that too with different cultures, and it and some Far East Asian as well. Yeah, actually, I would say Central Asian culture plays a lot in the design of a lot of things. I would say, but like
yeah, because even the architecture and stuff reminds me of it a lot.
Like Kazakhstan, Mongolia, like those Central Asian countries that I'm thinking of.
For sure, yeah.
But yeah, it's an incredible manga. I think it's very interesting, and I think it's really, I think for the experienced manga readers, it's very enjoyable. I think it's very, it's for the experienced readers. They will see they're not glaring issues, but for like the flaws of how the manga is designed, but you can chalk it up to like, okay, Miyazaki did this as a passion project to justify the story, to fully express his desire for the story.
Right, and this manga was made over 40 years ago, so it gets a
Yeah,
little bit of a
it's
pass
pretty
for
dated,
having.
but even for a dated manga, like we've covered manga from that time, like Spider-Man 1980 and Death Hunters, and they are like atrocious. They are atrocious. This is like something beyond its time. It's crazy.
Which is, I mean, it's probably one of the reasons why it's had such a cultural impact over not only just Japan, but in the greater Western audience who discovered it as well.
Absolutely. So I'm just gonna go over to the Nausicaa page now. So it's 44th ranked. Shit, bloody hell. That's pretty high. That's probably the highest we've seen in a while. Popularity 270. It's very highly regarded, and it's only like I mean, it's half the amount of Beelzebub of people who voted on it.
Yeah, I assume a lot of people just don't realize that there is a manga for Nausicaa.
I think that may be the case. They need to make a movie of this. Not a movie, but a TV show.
Are you serious? Yeah, I think so too. I think it would be exceptional.
High def, Ghibli level quality, expanded lore and stuff like that. This is like Elden Ring expansion hype that people love.
And please, before he dies, get Joe. Get Joe in there.
Get Joe in
make his music.
Get Joe Hisaishi. I'm so upset. I didn't get to. I was gonna go. I wanted to go to Joe Hisaishi. He was performing in Birmingham last year, and I didn't go because I had to go visit my sister in Switzerland that very weekend.
Freaking fan. So if you never get to see him, you can blame your sister for the rest
Yeah,
of your life.
yeah. I'm absolutely fucking hell. I'm absolutely doing that. All right, let's take a look at the reviews. So we got 16 recommended, 1 mixed feeling. I feel like there's always going to be 1 mixed feeling. Like he's just dead as a devil's advocate at this point.
It's got to be somebody.
All right, so let's look at which review. Oh my god! Fuck that. Ruru, you didn't see anything. We're reading this one. You didn't see anything. Please, Ruru, we've already gone over 3 hours in this stream. We can't keep going this forever.
It's all nothing. Move on. This person said it was a 10. Clearly, they've got something to say.
Yeah, exactly. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind is not a very popular manga. It is a shame at that. What do you mean not very popular? It's ranked 270. It's ranked 44.
Wow, this was what, in 2009, so maybe it wasn't trending at that time.
To be fair, yeah, that's true. I didn't see the date. For those of you who enjoyed the movie, the film only barely skims the surface of the first and second volume. I highly suggest taking the time to finding the series and reading it, 7 volumes in all. Nausicaa was written and illustrated by who may be one of the best filmmakers of all time, Hayao Miyazaki. That alone should be an incentive enough, but the series itself is monumental. I do have to argue the fact that just because it has this name on it doesn't mean it's good.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, just it's like Steven Spielberg built my car. That doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, for sure. And there's tons of great creators too. You're not gonna like every single one of the works that they make.
We do see the flaws and it definitely felt like a very ambitious manga, like over ambitious even. What I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It did feel a bit amateurish in the way it does some things, but it was kind of overshadowed by the exemplary art and story and world that it was telling. Okay, so taking place thousands of years in the future. Okay, this is just lore. Different countries of the gods. The fight princesses over the course of the story. Over the course of the story, the main character Nausicaa grows from an innocent nature-loving girl, one who has been hardened by death and loss, yet still manages to keep her peaceful persona and optimistic view. The story itself, besides the character, is an adventure. The characters never stop to take a break, always striving to keep humanity safe, sometimes from itself, and all the creatures of the world. All of this, paired with the breathtaking artwork which defies the average manga style, makes Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind, one of the most fantastic and epic mangas ever created. Just quickly zoom this. I'm gonna just slowly go this, and whoever has free time can read this, pause this, and read it themselves. They gave it a 9 out of 10. So they gave it a 9. So that's all.
One thing I have problems with reviews.
They don't
like,
even
not the
have
long
it.
one, but the short one is when they like make a statement that like sounds like a fact versus like their opinion.
All right, so this review was originally written in French. It's mixed feelings, and they gave it a 6 out of 10. So it's a pretty good score for a mixed feelings. All right, so there's probably going to be some translation error because it was translated from French. So, in my memory, although imperfect and aborted, already a feeling.
Well, I don't know what avorte means, but everything else is correct so far.
The film seemed more effective to me, getting lost less in the superfluous epic developments. Of course, you have to put up with the cheesy 80s music and have the impression of a somewhat fallow work. My God, what's this grammar today we're being hit with? And the ecological discourse gains in clarity and limpidity. My.
Well, I will say,
Can you
dating somebody who speaks French, when she translates stuff to English, I'm always like, why the fuck are you using such fancy words? She's like, well, it's normal in French.
Even if everything will be much more accomplished in Mononoke, again, we did bring up Mononoke. I feel like they do understand the connection, and everything was kind of like, okay, we tried to make a cake, it didn't work out. Let's make a new cake with the same ingredients. Yeah, I'm not. It seems like this is a review for the anime, because what we can like here, lore developed and balanced, still a little Venetian. Oh my God, the younger Miyazaki cannot help but slip in a message of hope and nuance. It honestly feels like he's talking about the movie.
It sounds more like it to me, yeah, for sure.
It feels like there remains a graphic design which, as I remember,
they even mention They mention animation at the bottom.
Yeah, about lore and narration, little chaotic, lyrical fighting, and multiple to neat design.
Which means the only mixed review on the manga page is not even about the manga.
That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I would be that one funny guy as well. That's not. Oh my God. So yeah, you're right. So basically, the one mixed feeling is just like he came to the wrong thing. He was on the wrong page.
We were almost there, but not quite.
I feel bad for him because he wrote it all and he rewrote it in English. You know, he probably put in the translator or whatever. I mean, this is, oh my God, this is 2025, bro. Come on, you have translators on the page.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're bilingual, you could write both of them.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I'm just saying, you have page translators. Like, classic. Oh well. Well, that was fun.
It just means it's very well regarded in general, which is not surprising. But
well, it just means that there's no negativity. Basically, I think everyone just thinks it. I think the guy who left the one slightly negative review mistakenly thought it was the movie page. Like,
yeah, because I mean, really, the only critiques I have for it overall on a large scale is I don't think the paneling and art is as clean as it could be at times, and then the ending feels like it should have been like another 20, 30 pages.
Yeah, honestly, it just needs that TV series, and it needs that expanded, not expanded, but expanded ending, I guess, like what they're doing with Bleach or whatever, you know.
Give us that 1 hour finale.
1 hour. To be fair, I mean, it's not out of the question. We've seen this happen. We've seen people do this shit with Pluto. Pluto did like 1 hour and a half episodes.
Was really cool.
Really cool. It didn't have an hour finale or anything like that, but like, I mean, they had like old manga like get revamped, like Parasite and so on. You know, it's not out of the question. It's whether or not Miyazaki is willing. He has the fucking stones to make this into a TV show, or if he's gonna. I don't think it'll happen
during his. I don't think it'll happen during his lifetime. So if it happens, it'll be a decision where someone come ask Goro, whoever owns the rights to it at that point, if he's okay with it.
Isn't the episode finale though of Pluto like an hour and a half though? Like,
yeah, I think it's a little bit longer than the other
rest.
episodes
Yeah,
because
that's what
almost
I
all
was
the
just saying.
episodes are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was just saying, like, oh yeah, but we just need that sort. I feel like it would be amazing to get that sort of like treatment though for Nausicaa. That would be amazing.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, they did that recently with Kimi ni Todoke season 3 as well. Every episode was like longer and chunkier, and it didn't leave out any of the manga details for that whole section of the story.
Yeah,
And it was
you can already see like some of the character differences and stuff like that. That's good, like Ketcha, Namulis, Charuka, and all that. It's quite
yeah,
interesting.
they're all gray. You can see that's how
They're all
they
great.
don't
It's like
have a.
that's how you know they're manga only. I like how Chikuku is like only got one favorite, my boy Chikuku with the blow dot.
Someone's out there for him. Well, that's like if you see the movie, the Omu are like one of the most famous prevalent parts, but they're really only important for like half of the manga.
Yeah, they're kind of just like present. Also, what I find interesting as well that they also have telepathy,
Yes.
and telepathy is also established as commonplace. It feels very
Yeah, there's like a whole group of people who just have access to it.
yeah, which I find crazy. Yeah, it's just like okay, I guess this is a normal thing, which I find hilarious.
Yeah, they just keep establishing people who have powers in it, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize there were so many special people in the world of Nausicaa in the future.
So from where where I've left off so far with the manga, I'm inclined to give it an 8.5 out of 10 because that's just kind of like overall feelings. How that will change will depend on the later chapters if that changes or not. But yeah.
It's funny for me because you're getting to volume 6 and 7 still. Volume 6 had some of my favorite content in the entire manga, and then volume 7 I didn't enjoy as much in the ending as well. But
Actually, I actually just got to volume 5, so I'm not even at 6 and 7 yet. Like,
yeah, so 6 has my favorite part of the entire manga. I'm giving it an 8 just because getting confused randomly throughout the entire manga wasn't my favorite, and endings are important to me for something like this. So
it's also very dense. I would say
Yes.
one of the issues as well. It's very dense visually.
And when you're trying to read it, when you have only so much time before you're going to be on this really famous guy's podcast, it's really hard to focus on it.
Famous, Pshaw. Future famous, sure, I believe that.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. I'll get.
As long as Rue doesn't take you down before then, you'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll survive. I think maybe, as long as she doesn't hit me with Rosen Maiden too, it's all good.
Ooh,
my one weakness.
She's gonna ask the manga artists themselves to release it directly to you.
Honestly, there's gonna be a whole build up to Ruru's month, and we're all terrified of what's to come. She's gonna have her month. And it's gonna be scary. I'm terrified at the prospect. And now Seawabs has got the idea now, and he probably wants to do his own month as well if he racks up enough points.
Well, it's all about finding ways to take down the hierarchy and establishment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So so we're at the end of the stream now. Thank you for making it this far, whoever's watching. So we are coming in to the end, and so Rulin has thrown 2 more manga at us for the mix. So our next co-host next month will be Swale. He would probably recognize him. He's one of the people that tuned in and asked about Beelzebub in the chat. So from what I can see, so I've nominated a manga called Drifting Dragons. There's also so Foxy nominated X-Men the manga, which we did a lot of background checking last night on the Discord.
Yeah.
That was a lot. We got Marriage Toxins. We're going to remove the Rose of Versailles because that is Foxy again. That was his second choice in case the X-Men didn't pan out, but we're going to go double down on the X-Men. We got Billy Bat by yours truly, E. Dokes. King and Lendl giving us a Hukago Bitaku Biori. Seawav's given us Zombie Hunter, and Ruling Carissa on the way to see Mom or Blue Thermal. Let's see. Wait, if you want more Rex, I can get more in the bag, but it looks like it's all right. You can check if he wants both in more moving stuff. You know what? It's you know, we're at the end. We'll probably hit the poll off in the next hour or so. So I'll just keep everything in. I think I'll just keep everything in and just do the poll with that. You know, if people want Rose of Versailles and Blue Formal, I'm all for it. Why not? So yeah, I'm running out of storage. I've been putting all the streams on my Google Drive. I'm like 10 gigabytes left, so I'm in trouble.
See, that's what I was telling you. You gotta dump them off somewhere. Put them on a
well, I have
hard drive or
it. I
something.
have it on I have it on my hard drive, but I do plan to re-upload everything later on onto YouTube at some point. At least
Start
from
doing one a
the
month.
stuff from the past year. I mean, thank God it's only one a month. I don't think I can manage with all this. Mega gives free 50 gigabytes for new account. Yeah, 50. I have an account with Google Drive, and I'm already at 500, so I'm in trouble.
Okay, we only did a 3-hour stream. I'm sure the file size will be super tiny here.
This is good. It's gonna be 10 gigabytes. I bet it's gonna be 10. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Stoics. You have been an excellent co-host. I hope to see more of you again, and who knows? We'll probably try to do some more content in between these reading sessions anyway. So I hope to see more of you.
It was a pleasure. I had a lot of fun.